Good evening, race fans. Welcome to BSTV and welcome to the TCR Challenge. This is Season 10, Rounds 16 and 17. And we are at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course in the US of A. I am Pete of Bingham and Sir Alan Toon is in the booth with me again tonight. So good evening, Sir Alan.
Oh, good evening, Peter, and very happy to be here this evening in this lovely, glorious, sunny, bright day.
It does appear that way in Ohio. I'm pretty sure in real life it is very, very cold in Ohio right now. I have been there. I am also doing cameras tonight, so apologies for the disastrous camera work, which is to ensue shortly. Again, this is rounds 16 and 17. We are currently in qualifying. We have times posted already on the board from our 14 drivers tonight. The only one that's not set a time yet, Alan, is Carl Hardy, which is very odd. I'm hoping he's still in the session. He's the only one that's not posted anything. Do you know anything about his whereabouts?
He was in the chat earlier.
Right.
So maybe he's got a technical hitch, because I can't think of anything else that would take him out of the chat.
No, it's very unusual, to be fair.
Oh, it is very unusual.
So
he was there earlier, so
he'll want to be in this for sure, because running through our standing order, Stephen Walker is our championship leader at the moment. There he is. We'll go around the track very quickly with somebody. We'll have to be quick because it's nearly the end of qualifying. He's on 970 points, with Sampley's on 941, so there's not much in that yet. Jamie Wilson is on 889, and Matt Elmore is on 759, with Carl Hardy just outside the top 4 on 753. So he is in the top 5, so he'll want to be here. We are going to jump on board with anybody who is approaching the end of the lap. We need to get rid of this number here, and then I think it'll work. There we go. So we're going to go on with 92. Who is 92? We're going to go on with Roger Morton. So you head over the start-finish line and under this bridge, and you're in 4th gear generally through turn 1. You want to hit that little yellow rubber lump, sausage, whatever you want to call it. He was in 3rd gear. You can do it in 4th. Fire it up the hill here towards Keyhole, which is this oversized. It's nearly a roundabout, isn't it? It's a hairpin. It goes on forever, and straightening up the car, as Roger's just found out, takes a long time as well. You fire it down here towards what's obviously known as the kink. It's this little bit here with the cones. People take the cones out just for fun, or we used to when we used to race around here. My most fun race was in one of the Dallara Indy cars. On your left there was China Beach, which is... we're going through the turn that they call Madness at the minute, but China Beach is where you are going to see somebody out there marooned in the sand. It's hard to control. Through that corner, it's off camber. Through the S's here, flat out through this in a TCR, until you get to turn 11, which is this turn here, which feels like it's going to wash away from you. It does grip up afterwards, and you head through what is called Thunder Valley. It's not the only track on iRacing, or even in America, that has a Thunder Valley, or S's. Or Carousel, which is what we're heading towards now, and we are in. This is the Carousel at Mid-Ohio Sports Park, and then through the last turn, which is turn 15, and then over the stripe again. It's a full-on frantic lap, Alan.
Oh yeah, it's a brilliant lap, Peter. I love to race this track, and these guys will be looking forward to this with some relish, because it's a real racer's circuit.
It is. It's a bit like a club circuit, isn't it?
Oh, it's kind of cozy but ferociously fast, and there's all kinds of tricky bits. There's all kinds of places where you can try and outbrake the other guy and go side by side through the S's and stuff like that. It's very exciting, and looking forward to this a lot. Yeah, the guys will be looking forward to it as well.
I've had some great races around here in V8s, Dallara, IndyCars. We've just hit the end of qualifying there. Oh, that was quick. Oh, that timed them up very, very quickly. I don't know what's going on there. It must be because it's a heat race. So I better get on, Alan, with the grid. So, yeah, your race, your pole man, if I can find the words, because that happened and caught me out, is Spencer McCarthy. He's done a 1:30.024, which is 3/10 faster than second place, Stefan Goebel. Good effort, Stefan. He came third at Nürburgring, didn't he? I'm thinking he might do better. Stephen Walker will go off third for Spectre 6, the number. Sam Blees will go off fourth for Alpine Stars Geodesic. And here, Simon Trendle will go off fifth for Team Chimera, with Matt Elmore for Spectre 6 TCR off sixth place. Seventh will be JB Dejoux for LMT Racing. Eighth will be Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera. Chris Needham will go off ninth for RWC Racing Red. 10th will be Russell Cowell for Spectre 6 TCR. Jason Haddington will go off 11th for RWC Racing Blue. 12th will be Jason Morris. 13th will be Roger Morton, who we were on board with, and he was doing quite a good lap at that point. And 14th will be Carl Hardy, who didn't actually set a time. Let's hope he grids. He's not actually on the grid at the moment. I'm hoping he's not got issues. Whoops, that's the wrong button, isn't it? So they are about to pull away. There goes the safety car, and Carl Hardy's not gridded up.
No, I can tell you why now as well. Because
go on.
He, you're like this. He turned the computer off, not realising what time it was, and couldn't. And turn it back on. It was too late to join.
Oh gosh! Right. Okay.
Yes.
Well, he may be able to start from pit road, I guess. And he may be able to get into, what is it, 8th or 10th place or whatever. Oh, right, they are green because the run to the line is short at Mid-Ohio. So here we go. 2 wide going into turn 1. 3 wide, nearly. 3 wide. That's not what you want to do at Mid-Ohio, is it? 3 wide, turn 1. Oh, that was a hip check.
Not on the first lap.
So Stefan's getting mugged here. So he's lost out 1 place already. He's on the optimal line there. Just let me go back and find him. Oh dear, that was Spencer going too deep.
That's Spencer, yeah.
There, that was Spencer. He's lost a lot of places there. He's getting mobbed now. So that places Lucky Wookie Walker into first place. And Stefan's got his position 2 back, Alan.
Well, crikey. This is this couldn't be better for Stephen, could it? If he could make this count, you know.
Look at this as well. Audi's 1, 2, 3. We haven't seen that for ages.
No, well, quick off the mark tonight, aren't they?
They are. I think
that does surprise me a bit because I know the other cars are really agile around here as well. But crikey.
Some of the top runners struggling at the minute. Simon Trendle, who you can see there with the gold banner because he's a previous championship winner, under loads of pressure from Matt Elmore. Simon's teammate, Jamie Wilson, dropping back through the order here, back to his start position.
Wow, well, that's surprising me because Jamie's been driving out of his skin recently.
He really has, yeah.
To be doing great things all the time now. So this is dangerous for everybody else.
It is. It's a mini breakaway of the 2 prior championship winners, Stephen Walker and Sam Blees at the moment.
Yeah.
Look
they're all hoping very hard that these 2 guys start to fight at the front here and quickly.
Well, our pole man, who overdrove Keyhole on lap 1, has just made his way past Matt Elmore. That was a great overtake. He's obviously got a ton of pace. And look at this. We are drafting. We were drafting.
Who's brave on the brakes here? This is one of the crucial bits of the circuit, and this is heart in the mouth time.
Oh, we got a lot of curb then. Oh, nobody in China Beach just yet.
It will happen, as you said.
It will. I can't decide where to point the camera at the moment because there's nothing between everybody.
No, it's a great start to the race, really.
So Sam Blees moves his way to the front. Yes.
Stephen, and that was a tasty overtake because Stephen's not at all easy to overtake.
No, definitely not. He's also one to play the long game, so he's not going to put his car into a risky situation. Stefan Goebel has some lovely lines going through some of these corners. And as we watch, Spencer McCarthy's already pulled up onto the back of Simon Trendle.
Stefan we're seeing a lot more of just in the last few weeks, haven't we? He's really put his best foot forward. It's great to see, and it's great to see him because he works so hard at it, and it's great to see him at the front of the bunch here and contending hard.
Yep, the whole field is still together as we watch Spencer working out Simon Trendle. Obviously, these two protagonists are, well, actually Simon, because he missed so many rounds, is where is he in the Simon? Oh, he's 10th at the moment in the championship. So for this particular, oh, hang on, Jamie Wilson and JB, is it, or is it Russell? Yeah, it's Russell. So Russell's worked Jamie Wilson over there.
Wow. I wonder if Jamie's got an issue of some kind. We seem to be gapping him pretty quickly as well. That's surprising me.
We're now
I
on
wouldn't expect
Simon.
to see that, I wouldn't expect to see that happening. So maybe there's something happening there. Maybe he had a slowdown or something.
Maybe, but Jamie's moved, back towards JB, who's just lost it going through into the carousel, or the start of the carousel. And that puts...
Side by side through here.
Yeah, not where you want to be on the outside there, really. But he's made that work. Chris Needham not quite able to overtake there. Spencer.
Good driving.
Look at Spencer's run out of turn 1. Good grief, that's a lot of overspeed.
It's the kind of track where you can do that, though, isn't it, Pete?
It is, yeah. He's ploughed it into keyhole there, and he's done well. Already ahead before he leaves the corner.
I mean, this is another one of those tracks where it's all about keeping your pace up. You don't want to be using the brakes any more than you absolutely have to. And,
no, not at all.
We've seen Spencer. We know he's a master at doing that, of coming through the field and just making the best of every track. He's just naturally talented.
Wow, look at that. Chris Needham on the brakes. Has he managed to do that or not? Or has JB worked this better? No, he's...
I bet they're enjoying the fight. This is a cracking little battle for them, isn't it?
Isn't it just? That's fantastic racing.
Yeah, great driving by both drivers. Courteous, clean, but really competitive.
And that's all that you want in a race, isn't it?
It is, really. If you could have that, you would never have any complaints, would you?
Not at all. Not at all. There would be no reason for a protest board, would there?
No.
So, into carousel. Oh, Chris Needham's got a tyre on the grass there. Made him go really squirrely under braking.
Oh, he managed to get hold of it quickly as well. That was good. Good reactions there by Chris.
Yeah. Just behind these two is Kylie, who's going to want to mop up with his teammate just ahead. So that's RBC racing red in the form of Chris Needham, JB in the sandwich, and Kylie Haddington in the blue and silver car behind, a blue and white car rather. The old concertina up going into keyhole. The sun's just gone behind a cloud, so that'll cool the track. It does work like that, by the way, folks. The cloud cover in iRacing has a dramatic effect on the track temperature.
Yes, it can. If you're like me and like a nice cool track to playing on, you can get a bit cheesed off with the amount of grey overcast days you have to put up with.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
sometimes put a hot track on just so I can have a bit of blue sky.
Spencer McCarthy slowly catching up with Stefan. And Stefan putting pressure on Stephen Walker. I mean...
2, 3. Yeah, we're getting that 6-car breakaway thing going, aren't we, again?
We are. We've had that a few times, haven't we?
Yeah.
There's a big jump back between Matt Elmore, who's at the back of this queue in that orange and black car there, back to Russell Cowell. There's about 2 seconds or something like that anyway. 2.5 seconds maybe getting up for. And this field at the minute does split that way, doesn't it, Alan? It
just seemed to, and well, this track will do that because it really is very pacey, so the gap's going to appear very quickly.
It's almost the whole field in shot. I think it is the whole field in shot by the time that last car whips around the corner there. That last car, by the way, is Carl Hardy. Is it? Or
Oh,
did he not make it? He didn't make it in the end. Damn
no,
it.
he couldn't get in. I think the session had closed before he could get in. So
Or
that would
did
have been
he? Hang
Roger.
on. Is he actually on track? No, he's not. Right, so Roger Morton is your last car on track.
Yeah.
It says Carl Hardy is out. That's
He
a
couldn't
shame,
get
that.
in. It does
So,
that, doesn't it? If the sessions start,
yeah,
like the
sometimes.
qualifications started or something like that, I think it
Yeah.
is. It stops you out.
Oh, that was a great bit of drive from Simon Trendle up the hill there. He was closing in on Stefan quite quickly. Stefan's been shuffled back now, and we missed that. We'll just watch that back again.
Yeah, but
I was busy
Spencer's
trying
on the
to.
mission, isn't he?
He really is. I think he's driving angry at himself, because I think he was master of his own destiny there at that turn 1. So he's done well to get inside Stefan at Keyhole. And Stefan's given him racing room, which is brilliant to see.
Yes. That's really mature driving, isn't it? It's what you want to see. I love to see that, because it lets people do that kind of a move.
Yes, and it lets the other drive. Ooh, crikey! Simon Trendle going very wide at turn 1. It gives you the chance to have a go back at the exit of the turn. Doesn't always work, of course, but at least you've got that opportunity. Whereas if you're fighting too hard and you're making contact, both of you lose.
Yeah, we do get contacts, of course. You're bound to in the kind of racing.
Well, TCRs for sure.
But you know, I think it's a tiny amount compared with what you see on an official race.
Oh, definitely. And we have to say, Spencer McCarthy, absolutely mega rapid. He's got the fastest lap at 130.21. I'm pretty sure that's faster than his quali lap, which you sometimes expect when you're in draft in a race. And when you've got a straight as long as the back straight here, it's almost inevitable. But that is something like 0.2 of a second faster than the next fastest car, which is the car behind him, Stefan Goebel. So Stefan's got serious pace around here as well.
Pace as well, yes. It's getting a little bit of a gap.
Right,
come on, Stefan. We don't want you to get dropped off here, matey.
No, definitely not. Everybody's closing up again. So Stephen's closing on Sam at the very front, and we've got Chris Needham closing on Jamie Wilson further back. Jamie losing a bit of time here and there, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Well, the J's are at the end, so goodness me.
Let's go and have a look at
I don't want
Jamie is
going down there to go with the
GB,
Kylie,
I know.
and Jason. You know, we'll have all the J's down there. It's I don't know what's happening with Mr. Wilson today.
No, and Jamie Wilson is closing on Russell rather than Chris Needham closing on him. Sorry, that was me reading the timing screen utterly incorrectly.
But they're only 6 seconds. You know what I mean? You know.
Yeah. There's not much in it.
8 laps and they're only 6 seconds. It's hardly a massive gulp, is it?
No, I mean this is the 30-minute sprint race as well. We've got the how long is the next race? I can't remember. Is it 45 minutes? I can't remember. But we will have a pit stop in that one. We won't have it in this one. There's no need. Oh, we're getting tasty back here with Jamie Wilson again. He's really putting pressure on Russell now. Almost pushing him round.
Russell's probably holding him up a little bit, he thinks.
I think you might be right. Jamie's got a beautiful line through there. Look how much he closed.
Yeah. It might pay Russell to let Jamie go in front and get in his toe, you know.
Yeah, because he's a bit of a rolling roadblock through the carousel there. Look at that. Jamie really is nearly pushing. Look at Spencer's time. Oh my God, 130.0. They're nearly in the 129s.
They're all close, so look at that. Now it's gone to... They're all in 30s, aren't they?
Oh, what? I thought it was a big crash then. Oh, it did.
Even JB's in the 30s as well. You know, that's fantastic.
I thought I saw a car exiting stage left then. Oh. And I wasn't wrong, I don't think.
Oh, not Jason. Oh.
Oh, no. Just wobbling around in the distance.
Thank heavens.
Hardly what you call an incident, but SDK called it out anyway.
Yeah, we don't want Jason crashing. I like him to have a nice long race. Then I'll get a lovely read up to seeing my page
No,
tomorrow.
of course, yes. We need to mention that more often in these broadcasts. So it's the simulacorium. Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, that's very good.
Yes, I did Latin at school. A long dead
Made
language
it
that
up.
doesn't
It's a
really
good
need to be
word.
taught. Yeah, but it's got foundation in actual language, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
That term. So
Yes. Oh, I didn't. No, it was thought about. Yes, it was a cohesively framed term that I wanted.
absolutely, we are the educated. So we should bless everybody around us, Alan, with our education.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. So the top three have brought themselves back together. We have to keep switching between this and Jamie Wilson putting pressure on Russell, because that's really coming to a head now. Jamie's got a mega tow, but he's not going to do anything. I don't know. Well, there's no pit stops. There's no point in saving any fuel. Just want to get the job done. He kind of diamonded Keyhole, which doesn't help. Top three again. Very close together. We haven't got a battle in the middle there with Simon
You won't
Tremble
be
and
splitting
Elmore.
them. I'm surprised that Simon isn't actually closing on these guys a bit. Is he closing?
I am as well, because he's been uber competitive in virtually every race that he attends. I mean, he's got his VR set back now, which is brilliant, which means he's racing with us again. I wonder
These
if
guys have got this track pinned, haven't they?
obviously, look at it. You know, and something really good. There's only 3 Audis in the field, and they are 1, 2, and 4. We didn't see this for several seasons. The Audi was just utterly down
outclassed,
on everything.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had the Civic eating everything, and then we had the Elantra eating everything. You know, it's had a tough time, but Stephen stayed faithful.
Well, back in the
still
day,
kept winning races.
People complain about the cars individually, Alan, but back in the day, there was only the Audi. That was all the TCR there was.
That's right, and people loved it. There was a huge exodus into the TCR. Even when it was just the Audi, just because of the unique character of the drive that it gives you. Because there's nothing else that drives like the TCRs in iRacing.
No, definitely not. Not with
such character.
Not with such amazing horsepower for a front-wheel drive car, anyway.
Yeah, well, the front-wheel drive is so defining on this thing, isn't it? The way the force feedback comes through. But goodness me.
You can feel it better in these TCRs, like the front-wheel drive effect, and the way that you recover from oversteer and understeer moments just by flooring the pedal, than in any other of the front-wheel drive cars on the service.
Oh, absolutely. No, I think they're a great little car, but when they added the extras, I mean, it put so much new life into the TCR thing. Because look at this, what we've got here. We've got different makes, all competing. Fairly competitive with each other. Maybe with a slight track advantage for the occasional race for different cars, which is interesting as well.
But that's exactly what you want, isn't it? You want cars to have, an advantage on top speed for certain tracks. You want an advantage through very tight and twisty corners for some tracks. You want the reactivity in the steering for some tracks. It's one of those situations as Russell loses it on the sausage curb there and lets Jamie get a run on him. Is Jamie going to do anything here? We're on board.
And he'll do him on the hairpin.
Is he going to go? No, he's not. He's going to sell him a puppy, and it's worked. It's worked. Russell's gone super deep. Now, Jamie should get a mega run now. He should get a mega run. He'll be in the tow as long as he doesn't catch any dirt on the outside. Russell's managed to make this work. How is that possible?
That car's got some bottom end grunt. Because that was all torque the way that picked up and drove out of there.
Yep.
It looked for sure like Jamie got the run.
Definitely.
But the torque of that car just picked it up and chucked it down the road.
It really did. And just ahead of this pairing, we've got yet another battle that's ensuing. And that's Matt Elmore on Simon Trendle. I wonder if these Team Chimera cars have just not quite hooked the setup up tonight.
Well, it's possible.
because they're further down the field than I'd expect those two cars to be.
Yes.
I mean, Jamie's
Still doing
basically
great lap
pushing him
times,
round.
you know.
Yeah.
They're doing good lap times, but that's, I think, could be down more to the quality of the drivers rather. Maybe they have got an issue with their setup.
It's possible. I mean, Simon's
They're
under
normally
pressure
very
from
tight
that.
on this, aren't they? You know,
Yeah.
they're hot on it and they're excellent at this kind of stuff. All these people are.
And real life takes effect, doesn't it, at certain points? So, you know, maybe these guys just haven't had the chance to get the practice in. As Spencer is showing his eagerness to get past Stephen Walker here.
Well, you know, Sam's getting a little gap there.
Oh, look at this again. Now, surely he's got an absolute slingshot here.
You think so, hadn't he? Surely he's got him with the toe. Come along.
Now, I've chased Russell before, and he's quite annoying because he just bolts himself to the inside line. But here, you can go around the outside here at China Beach. So
he's going to outbrake him. Surely he's going to outbrake him.
Is he going to outbrake himself, though? No, he's done a great job there, Jamie Wilson. All he needs to do is block him off at Madness and into the S's, and he's done this job. That's a great move.
Fantastic
Brilliant
driving. That's what we like to see, isn't it? That was just sweet. Beautifully thought out, worked out, and executed.
Yeah, that was the thinking man's overtake, wasn't it?
It certainly was, and it took two drivers to make that so beautiful.
Oh, look at that. Oh. Spencer's literally pushing Stephen round the carousel.
Get a room.
Pay by the hour.
He's making free with his undercarriage.
Yeah. Evening to David Ayres on the chat.
Evening, David.
We are both well. I have some Merlot and Sir Alan has some whiskey. What's tonight's tipple?
It's unpronounceable. Bunna Haba Haina.
Something like that. Right, okay. That's new on me.
Oh, is it? No, it's a famous single malt.
Oh,
it's quite a famous one. Ooh. Oh. It's from Islay or Ireland.
Oh, Islay, yeah. They're wonderful island whiskies. Yeah.
Mm.
This is amazing. Look at this. 2 wide through 2 corners, 3 corners. This will be 4.
Oh,
utter respect for each other. Nearly 5, and Stephen keeps that position. That's amazing.
Oh, isn't that delicious? Oh, I knew we were in for a treat tonight, honestly.
I'm kind of happy that Spencer screwed up the keyhole because we get to see this.
So, yeah, I really thought we could be in for a good night tonight. We raced here in the Masters last week.
Right.
And it was, it just put me right in the mood to see the TCRs going around there, actually. It did. Because I've driven the TCRs around here quite a lot.
Yeah, I have as well.
It's always fun.
Yeah, my David Ayres says, does that mean that Alan's drinking drain fluid? Oh, look at Spencer, he's twitching. Oh, no, that's contact. That's bad contact. I think, I don't know, we're going to look at that again, obviously.
Yeah,
that's a broken front suspension or rear suspension for Stephen Walker.
He's going to have to quit. He's going to have to get a tow.
Yes, definitely. Let's see this again. We'll watch it from above because Spencer goes towards the left. Stephen does a little twitch, but not much. And then, yeah, I think Stephen will probably feel aggrieved. That's broken his front suspension. You can see the left front there hanging off. That's not the way you want that to happen. And he has reset to the pits. He did try and get the car back onto the track. But,
yes. Well, absolutely. He's trying to avoid the tow at all costs because he might have got back on and, you know, still made an impression in the race.
Yeah.
If he hadn't lost so much time, but he won't now.
No, that might have dramatic implications for the championship because that puts, well, a massive amount of points between Stephen Walker and Sam Blease because Sam Blease is due to win this race. There he is.
So that's put Stefan in second and Spencer's now in third and after him, no doubt.
Yeah,
I wonder if
Spencer, I
I
don't know
suppose
what happened to
Spencer's car will be fine, won't it? He only just got a nudge, so he might have had a bit of aero, do you think?
Yeah, I'm
We'll
just
just
going
give
to
him
watch
a
this
bit of a whack.
because this is the that's the event there
Oh, yeah, it's
that
not got damage.
that we saw. I think Spencer stopped. No, maybe not. Yeah, he did. He slowed right down. I think he was waiting to see what happened to Stephen.
Yes.
So now he's got a car to overtake again. So there was an intention to give the place back, I think.
Yes. Yes.
But utterly impossible with broken front suspension. So we'll have to see what happens with that in terms of protests and whatnot.
I imagine the apologies are going in already.
I would expect so. Yeah. In all of that. Oh, actually, I think we saw this, didn't we? We're going to see it again though because it was brilliant, and it'll take our mind off an incident like that. So this
I think that
is
was a bit
historic.
unlucky. This is beautiful. Look at it.
I know.
You know, because he got right on the curb there. He had a good line, didn't he? You know,
he did.
You know, it was just Jamie just carried so much pace through the bend.
Yep.
Oh, that was beautiful.
So Stephen Walker has used his fast repair, and he is back on track, or is he? He's rolled it to the end of pit road exit. He's waiting for the field to go.
Right.
So he doesn't want a part of anybody else's race. He just wants to get round. There we go. Yeah. He's away again. That's beautiful to see.
Yes. It's very typical of the man.
Isn't it? Sam Blees,
well, look at the
meanwhile.
gap we've got here now. Sam's in the, oh, crikey, Fat City, isn't it, Sam?
It is, and his time on last lap was a 1:29.29.
Oh, and that's a low one as well. Goodness me, I think that's nearly a second he's done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Blimey heck. Crikey, Sam.
So he obviously
fantastic driving, mate.
Obviously likes the track.
Yeah, I think the pair of them do, because I think Spencer quite likes it as well, you know.
Yeah.
Seems to me. But look how well Stefan's doing, fending him off here. Because
he's doing a good job.
We've seen the way that Spencer's been going. And this is a bit of artistry here by the German driver.
It is. He looks a little more
that
ragged.
Car's planted exactly in the way, isn't it?
It is. His lines are not quite as polished, but his ability to drive that Audi is very, very high. In the distance there, you can see
exactly where he wants to.
Yeah, you can see Jamie Wilson under some. Oh no, it's not, is it? It's Simon Trendle, of course. Simon Trendle under some pressure from Matt Elmore here.
That's not something you see every day, is it?
It's not. I mean, that's why I'm wondering about the Team Chimera Civic setup, or is it just the Civic? They are the only Civics, along with Roger Morton, who is arguably at the back of the race.
Yes, and Roger's been driving very well recently, so it might be that the Civic's not. Maybe it's not suiting the Civic so well.
Oh, look at that! Can't get a Rizzler paper between them two.
No. Crikey.
I mean, Spencer displayed his speed in qualifying, pretty much. Oh, look at that. He's left. Stefan left him the room to do it. And Spencer was unsure, I think. Maybe he didn't want 2 scalps in one race, Alan.
That doesn't sound like Spencer.
No.
I'm sure he's quite happy to collect as many scalps as he can.
Yeah, but in the right way, I would think.
But it's the manner of doing it, isn't it?
Yes, of course.
It's the manner of doing it. He's a stylish driver, you know, and he's got enough class that he doesn't need to actually do anything ugly.
Yep, that's the third time we've seen Spencer overtake someone at Keyhole.
See, he wasn't in any rush because he knew he could do that.
Exactly, yeah. Stefan might get a run.
Thing of beauty. The pace. You see, the thing about that is, you know, to do that, you've got to absolutely stick on that line while you're going so roundly, and it's so difficult. It means he's coming exactly right on pace.
Mm-hmm.
He's got his braking perfect, so he can hold that line on the inside.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is fantastic to watch.
It's so difficult to do, you know, to get it just so right so that you're planted so firmly and you're going to hold the line. You're not going to just wander out slightly and into the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, front wheel drive cars do tend to drift out into corners, don't they? If you carry.
Yes, well, you get understeer and oversteer, don't you, with the throttle? So
Yep.
you've got to. These guys are experts, though. Let's face it; they've driven this car a lot.
They are, yeah.
They're experts.
I think this will be the penultimate lap, believe it or not. Just going to jump on board and see if there's a flagman. Where's the flagman? Oh, it's further back, isn't it? Give me a second. So if I choose car number 1, that'll be Simon Trendle as we come round.
Nice gloves. What sort of gloves has Simon got? Oh, they're quite nice. Turquoise and black.
Lovely, yeah.
Very, very tasty.
Wasn't quick enough on that one, so let's see what Jason Morris can see. We've not seen anything of Jason. So there's no flagman yet. No flagman yet. So we've got another lap at least.
Another lap. Well, we haven't seen the white flag, have we? So yeah.
No, worth seeing this again though.
Where are we? Yeah.
This is Spencer on Stefan. Absolutely sold him on that left-hand side. Lovely car control.
That was just superb by both of them. Yet again, you know, it takes two to make these beautiful manoeuvres.
It does. That was like just ice skating, you know.
Torvill and Dean. It was Torvill and Dean.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
You took the analogy right when I was thinking. You said ice skating, just as I was thinking Torvill and Dean.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go. It's synchronicity for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, so checkered flag. That was the last lap, apologies. So this is Sam Blease for the win.
Oh, comfortable in the end. It's got a
clear
old gap. Well done, Sam. That was a quality drive.
Oh, and Matt Elmore didn't get on terms in the end with Simon Trendle. As everybody comes flying over the line. JB over the line. A bit further back.
Stephen's finished. Even though he's a lap down, still got to the end there. Well done. Everybody's finished. It's good to see, isn't it?
It is.
Well done, Roger.
And Roger, I think, is one of the last ones over. He is the last one over. So that is the end of our first race tonight, our sprint race. So we'll just run through the finishing order there. So Sam Blease is your winner of the sprint race, round 16 of tonight's racing here at Mid-Ohio for BSTV's TCR Challenge. Second place was Spencer McCarthy, his teammate. Third was Stefan Goebel for VTS Esports, with Simon Trendle in fourth for Team Chimera. Matt Elmore in fifth for Spectre 6 TCR. Jamie Wilson for Team Chimera came in sixth. Seventh was Russell Cowell for Spectre 6 TCR. Chris Needham was eighth for RWC Racing Red. JB Dejoux finished in ninth for LMT Racing. Kylie finished 10th for RWC Racing Blue. Jason Morris in 11th. Roger Morton was 12th for Work Guard by Result. Stephen Walker, unfortunately, way back in 13th, and equally as unfortunate, 14th was Carl Hardy, who didn't start for Safeguard. Well,
20 laps.
Yeah.
What a 20 laps they were.
They certainly were. We've got a track temperature of 34 degrees, which is middling, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
We are in a few minutes of warm-up at the moment. Nobody's on track at all. We've got 5 minutes of warm-up. I'm sure there'll be some conversations between Stephen Walker and Spencer in Discord. I don't know whether they're in the same rooms or not, or whatever. but we'll have to see what happens with that later. We will go through the team standings. I am aware that some of these standings are a bit... it's not accounting for certain things in the right way, but I have to wait for Sam Boozen or Clyde to come back in order to correct that, because I'm not up to speed with how to correct those issues. So Geodesic Racing are your leaders at the minute in the championship, as Stephen Walker goes out on track. We shall show him on Blimp Cam while I talk. So they're on 1576. Team Chimera on 1414. So 160 points behind. 162 to be precise. Spectre 6 Purple, of which Stephen Walker is part of, are third. Fourth are Safeguard by result, but didn't score in that round because Carl didn't actually get to join. Spectre 6, Spectre 6 Silver are in fifth on 1174. So that's how the team's standings are. And then we've got driver of the meeting. So Jamie Wilson is heading that up at the moment, 5 votes. Stephen Walker on your screen, 4 votes. In joint third are Sam Blees, Carl Hardy and Simon Trendle. So all to drive for there. And then our head-to-heads. So we've got a couple of rounds, in fact these 2 rounds, before we go into the semi-finals. So at the minute we've got Stefan versus Matt Elmore. And who's winning that at the moment? So Matt Elmore was winning, but I think on that round, that probably gives, as Stephen Walker practices his pit stops, don't forget they are a feature of the main event. So Matt Elmore may well be losing out now to Stefan, because Stefan finished well in that race. In qualifying session 2, it's Sam Blees versus Chris Needham, and Sam Blees is winning that by 8 points before these 2 rounds. Jamie Wilson versus Stephen Walker for qualifying 3. That couldn't be more close. It's 235 points to Jamie and 241 to Stephen. I would suspect after that particular race just then, that is completely reversed. And then in the last one, Carl Hardy and Spencer. Carl Hardy was leading, but I think that's been done in that last race. So, Alan, lots of competitive racing in the first, in the sprint. This track is challenging even for a driver driving on their own. A driver driving against very, very stiff competition, albeit fair competition, has even more going on. And we saw when 2 cars get a bit too close and the tactics get a bit tight, that we can have incidents.
Yes, but inevitably. But yeah, as we've said before, there's no discernible difference in what the way the guys go about it. With the longer race, they just treat it like an extended sprint, don't they? So I expect to see just more of the same, more close racing, more opportunity to overtaking if you can get the chance, and still the same high standard of driving, making it hard to pass, but doable. But you've got to do something pretty special, really. We saw that, it took Jamie some doing.
It really did, yeah.
And I think you've got to do something pretty special to get clean overtakes on here.
Couldn't agree with that one more. I'll run through the grid because this might be interesting. Chris Needham will lead the field away. I don't know whether that's his first pole, but it might be. Russell Cowell will go off second next to him with Jamie Wilson in third, Matt Elmore fourth, Simon Trendle will go off fifth, Stefan sixth, Spencer goes off seventh, Sam Blees will go off eighth, ninth will be JB Desjou, 10th will be Kylie, Jason will go off 11th, Jason Morris that is, Roger Morton will go off 12th, 13th will be Stephen Walker, who's got a lot of work to do from back there, and Carl Hardy has not gridded.
Locked out the session.
Yes, I'm surprised he's not been able to get in at all, but that is the case. So Chris Needham leads them away, and he's having to go because they went green.
Goodness. They're not hanging around.
No, they're not. And already he's under pressure. On the inside there, Russell Cowell.
Wow. Oh, this is interesting. Chris is no mug as a driver, and we saw how hard Russell made it for Jamie. Oh, look at this. He's going to try. He's not going to dive in, is he? Surely no.
No, but 2x2 round the.
Well, yes, it's like, you know, the arc of the chocker
4x2
in no time, would it?
No, they haven't actually broken the double ranking since the start. So they have now.
Crikey.
Everybody is in this. It's code brown for everybody going into.
This is hot in the mouth stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is.
One mistake here could be a race ender. So these guys are being really cautious.
Oh my God! 3 wide, and we've got incidents. We've got incidents.
I bet you can go 3 wide round there, can you?
No. Oh dear.
Oh.
And then further turn Matt Elmore on Chris Needham. So Chris Needham has ended up getting shuffled right to the back. Lots of congestion on that start. No blocked track, so no yellows thrown. That
was a bit of a battery.
And wasn't it? I mean, they were 3 wide going into a turn called Madness. What does that tell you?
Well.
So Russell Cowell now leads the field. We'll do an autopsy on that later.
Russell made it very hard for Jamie. I think he's going to make it very hard again because he's got Jamie behind him again.
Yeah, and look at this. Spencer has already moved forward a little.
Well, we know what he's going to do. He's going to try and carve through, isn't he? You know, and look, all the cars in shot again.
Yep.
And, Russell's doing very well here.
He is.
He wants to take advantage of every little bit of trouble behind him, everything that's slowing each other down, all the side-by-side stuff. It's just giving him a little bit of a chance. You know, so what's going to happen here? Is Spencer getting through? He is.
He is, and he's opened the door for his teammate. So he did do for a minute.
Jamie.
Yeah, smart. Made his car very wide on that turn.
Yeah. I would have lost that place, but Jamie's a better driver than I am.
Amen. Well, same for me, head and shoulders ahead of me is Jamie Wilson. So the first 5 cars separated by nothing. Not even a second covers the first 5. It does now. Stefan ran a bit wide there, so we're over a second for the first 5. A bit further back, Simon Trundle is a bit mired in traffic. He's got JB in front of him. He's got Stephen Walker coming through rapidly behind him.
That's going to encourage him, surely.
I would think so, yes.
But, you know, if you get a determined guy, even if he's just a few tenths slower than you know, it's very hard to get by.
It is.
These guys know exactly where to put the car on the track to make it tricky.
JB staying ahead of Simon Trundle at the moment. Further back, Roger Morton making his way through the field now. He's managed to put Jason Morris and obviously Chris Needham behind him. Chris Needham is still on track and making his way round.
Oh, so he's taking... Oh, that's interesting because Jason had the pace of Roger in the first race.
He did, didn't he? Yeah, that's a good point. And Roger's now putting pressure on Matt Elmore, which is unbelievable, really, because Matt Elmore's super rapid at the best of times. Stephen Walker putting mega pressure on Simon Trundle here. And at the front, Russell Cowell under huge pressure. Look at this. For the lead.
Had to happen.
It did, yeah. Look at the room that Spencer leaves.
You're not making it easy. Do you know what I mean? Fighting for every inch. Isn't it gorgeous?
It is. But did you see how Spencer left miles of racing room, but still managed to overtake with comfort?
Yes.
Very, very professional.
Oh, he's gifted drivers, and that's what they do. They make it look, they make the impossible look possible. I see these guys doing things that I couldn't even contemplate time after
well,
time, you know.
yeah, couldn't agree more. Stephen Walker around the outside isn't going to work at keyhole on Simon Trendle, that's for sure. First 5 cars. First 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars. There's a bit of a gap there, but it's not much of one back to JB. It's only 8.8 of a second.
And the people that are in those cars just at the back there, they're not going to be staying there long.
No.
They'll be coming up to join these. This is
oh wow! Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, it's very exciting, isn't it? For the start of the this is the more sedentary, longer race, of course, here with the pit stop.
You wouldn't believe it. Feels more like an hour-long sprint race at the moment. This is unbelievable.
That's exactly what they do.
That was a great overtake there from Simon Trendle on JB Dejou in China Beach into Madness.
It's starting to feel like that's the only kind of overtake you can get.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
If you can't do a great one, you ain't getting past, simply.
Yeah, that's a good point. Spencer starting to stretch his legs at the front, and really is starting to stretch his legs as Sam Blease puts mega pressure on Jamie Wilson.
Still got that line. Look at this. This is fantastic driving by everybody. Roger's still there. Look at that. They're still well in view.
They really are,
the whole field. That's brilliant. It just shows the quality right down to the end because, you know, Roger and Jason Morris, Chris Needham are no slouches as drivers.
Not around this track. They're doing really well.
Well, you know, they're around any track, I would say, they're more than competent. And if they were racing an official, you see them in front of officials, you know, in their own weight class all the time. But it just shows you how good the people are that we see time and time again at the front here, week in, week out. We see these. The class just shines, doesn't it?
It does. Spencer McCarthy's just posted the fastest lap of the race with no tow at 1 minute 30.4.
That's what he did in the first. Didn't he do a 3 in the first race?
He did. And
3.
Sam Blease did a 129.9 in the first race. Oh, wow. Russell Cowell well out of shape going into the carousel. I don't think it'll benefit. Who was that? Jamie Wilson.
Jamie, still Jamie.
Oh, he's going though. He's going.
He's probably seen enough of the back end of that car that he's sick of the side of it.
Yeah,
he's ready to push
he
on.
has muscled him out there.
He's done him on the inside. There's room for 2 there, so.
Although nobody's taken the lead yet. Oh yes, they have. Russell has. Jamie's on the wrong side here. This can't possibly work. Can't work.
Right, who gets on the power first here?
Oh, look at that. Jamie gives him a little punch, and so does Sam on Jamie.
He's very interested.
Isn't he just? Stefan absolutely roars up to the back of this, as Spencer McCarthy says, adieu, mon ami. He is history. He's gone.
Only 3 seconds already.
Yeah, because
these are doing this, you know, and he's going to make hay while the sun shines.
Russell's going to lose 2 positions here, Alan, in 3 corners.
Yes, but look who he's losing them to.
Well, of course, yeah. Jamie Wilson and Sam Blease, massive amount of talent. They've got more talent in both of their little fingers than I've got at all.
I think he's doing a really good job, is Russell. I think he's driving very well tonight. He's giving people problems. He is, and that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, defensive driving he does. Yeah, defensive driving he does very well. He bolts himself to the favourable side of the track, but it does stack people up, and it does let people like Spencer leg it down the road. He's just posted the fastest lap again, a 1:30.2. That's 1.2 seconds faster than any other car. Oh, apart from Matt Elmore.
We'll see the times come down now, but these two have got. We've got Jamie and Sam have got in front of Russell.
Yeah, Sam.
They'll be in hot pursuit. I imagine these two have got the canniness to not scrap.
Well, you say that as Sam
And then
pops
as soon
out.
as he pulls out straight away.
And
So there you go.
behind,
That's what he
Stefan.
thinks.
Yeah, Stefan's
So,
having a pop.
so this is an interesting
Wow.
car. Sam's
Sam,
going to fancy his
please.
chances, isn't he? He's going to fancy his chances. So
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
how did he fit that car in there like that?
I don't know, but it was magical to watch.
Goodness me. Yeah, you're right. It is magical to watch. Some of this stuff is breathtaking.
It really is, though, isn't it? You know, they've
Yeah.
crafted brilliant overtakes and lovely lines through each of these corners. People see racing as, you know, who wins, but it's not about that. It's about how the cars interact with one another and the lines that they take through corners and where the advantage is gained. It's far more than just...
It's subtle, it's sophisticated,
Yes.
and it's artistry.
It is.
Which is an undefinable quantity, but these, you know, some drivers have it, and it's, they share it with us. It's very good. Ayrton Senna was quite good like that. You remember him?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I grew up watching Ayrton Senna.
Artistry, yes. You know, really, an artist behind the wheel.
Yeah, I think there's so many driver aids in some of the very, very modern super fast cars like F1 now. That the talent is almost overridden by the car, if that makes sense. Whereas,
well, the technology's up front rather than the driver's reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
I probably made an enemy out of myself there for millions of people, but sorry, that's just my opinion. But whereas you got cars like this, they still take that craft to massage them around a track in a way that's super fast.
Yes, and if you want to know what a formula, go in one of the Lotus 49s around here.
Yeah, that's a great car to drive, actually, isn't it?
It is. It's exciting, but it gives you a real insight into just what those guys were driving in the old days. No brakes and such like.
Crazy.
Yeah, fantastic.
Still on drum brakes back then, I think.
Yeah.
So we are on lap 9. We're only 12 minutes in. It feels like we've done half a race already with the amount of action in this one. We've got Spencer's just disappeared now.
Yeah.
He's just setting fastest lap after fastest lap. There's nobody really near him on the lap chart apart from his own teammate who's behind him. Look at the gap. Look at the gap physically.
Yes.
It's massive.
Well,
he's not even in shot.
Well, I was going to say we need Jamie and Sam to work together, but it looks like Jamie's getting slightly dropped by Sam at the minute, so they won't be able to fight with him if he's behind him.
My observation of this is Jamie catches up in some of the twisty sections, so I think the Honda is good through the zigzags.
Yes,
not so hot.
Side.
Yeah, not so hot through the straight bits.
Yeah, it was through the curve that he did that fantastic overtake.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think it's the Honda's inability or the setup on the Honda or something to do with that. Out of corners, it's just not nearly as good as that Audi tonight. I mean, he's not ploughing it through the corners. He's not oversteering or understeering. It just seems that the launch out of the corners doesn't seem to be there for that Honda, and specifically the Team Chimera ones. Simon Trendle is a bit further back, stuck between, just ahead, Stefan and Russell going at it.
Well, Russell's been holding. I think Russell's, been doing a good job, but he's holding Stefan up, of course.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And
Stefan's car control is excellent tonight. I've just probably cursed him into a crash, but never mind.
Well, we'll expect to see more attacking by Stefan onto this, because that's the only way forward, isn't it? He's got to get past Russell to have any more impact to raise his position. And as Russell shuffles back down the pack, the margins between his lap and the guys behind him get smaller and smaller, and it gets harder and harder for them.
It does, yep.
To make a pass.
It should be noted that the two Alpine Stars geodesic cars at the front here are both up 6 positions from the start, as is Stephen Walker, who's now putting pressure on Simon Trendle, very much so. And of course, look at Stefan, he's crawling all over. We're racing! Russell Cowell. I mean, these 5 cars here, you could throw a very small handkerchief over all of them.
This, but oh, goodness me, they're.
We're going 2 by 2
They're going to have to
into turn
sort
1.
it out, isn't it? They're going to have to sort themselves out here.
There is a car on our outside here. There it is. You can just see it. Oh, dearie me. That's Simon Trendle's Civic. I thought this would be a good view, and it was. So we're looking at the outside for a cutback here. Get back on the gas super fast and super early from Stephen.
Oh, nearly got a wheel on the grass. That would have been hairy.
And that's the difficulty with keyhole. You know, you can try and diamond the corner to get a good run off it, but your car drifts away. It's a bit off camber, or it feels like
Yes,
it is.
it does, doesn't it? I do think there is a bit of camber there because of the hill. You know, the gradient of the hill makes it. It's carried on the loop.
So your car just kind of washes. Ooh, Stefan, that's a nice line, but it didn't work. Your car just kind of washes out and keeps washing out towards the scenery, and you end up having to get off the gas in order to straighten your car up.
Yes, and well, if you don't and you try and boot it and put some lock on, you end up spinning out there. It's,
yes.
A classic spin out place as well.
It is.
Try and rectify it.
Rear wheel drive cars suffer badly at that corner. In front there, you can see Jamie Wilson still very much in contention with Sam Blease, putting a bit of pressure on him into the carousel as Spencer McCarthy under the 130.
Oh, this is good. This is good driving by Jamie. This is more like what we expect to see from him. And he's really pulled his finger out, hasn't he, in this race? To be running third, just behind the geodesic guys. Let's face it, they're quality, and
oh yeah,
he's doing very well. This is a sparkling drive by Jamie.
And
to live with these guys is a fine performance. Let's hope we can keep it up.
Has Simon Trendle managed this job on Stefan or not? Oh, I'm on the wrong car, apologies. He's on the favourable line into China Beach.
Oh, he's got it, hasn't he? Yes.
Stephen Walker looking to monopolise on a situation that he's not made, but he could benefit from.
Oh, that was beautiful driving by the pair of them.
It really was. That's just fantastic. So absolutely grounded.
You won't see better than that.
I don't
it's just
think
beautiful,
so.
isn't it? We're getting spoiled tonight, really. It's a beast.
I'm having to do I'm having to do this chopper shot a lot because it's the only way to really see the lines that people are taking into these corners and the advantage they're getting over others.
It's great camera work, Pete, I think. We're getting the right eyeball, and we need to see the long view because there's 5 cars there.
Exactly, yeah.
We can't just focus on 2 because there's 5 all in the mix.
Spencer is now in a different postcode to everybody else.
I don't think, right, it's up to Spencer to crash the car.
Well,
otherwise he's going to win, isn't he?
I think so. It's his to throw away now.
He's clearly got the pace, and we know what a reliable driver he is.
Yeah, and sadly the 2 geodesic cars, well, just Spencer's car really, not going to get much footage being 5.5 seconds ahead in the lead because the cameras will always be pointed at where the action is, and it's here.
There's plenty of it.
I do feel like Russell's a bit of a rolling roadblock at the minute.
I just think it's been slightly off the pace, hasn't he?
Yeah.
The leading bunch, but it's only slightly off, so it's fast enough to be really quite difficult to get by. The margin's tiny. And you're going to have to be quite brilliant to do it. You've got to find the right place, and you've got to do all that preparation like James did on the first time.
Oh dear.
How tight do you want to be? I mean,
I
you
know.
can't get any closer. You're trying to get the maximum amount of tow so we can get the run out of here.
Pass me my blood pressure meds, will you, Alan? Oh,
Sorry,
look
Pete,
at
I'm eating them.
that. Simon Trendle is putting some massive pressure now on Russell Cowell. Russell's gone defensive and bolted himself to the inside line again. But Simon, no, it never works
Got
through
too far
keyhole.
to
Never
go. He's just
works.
got too far to go.
It's like an extra 6 miles on that outside line, isn't it? They just can't make that work.
Not while the other guy's going in as well as Russell's going in and keeping the paces tight.
Here we go. This may well be it.
I think he's probably got it this time.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ooh,
Oh!
right. Okay. We're going to have to
Oh,
autopsy that one.
Oh,
as everybody stacks up.
Oh no, don't put yourself in trouble, heaven's sake.
Russell has got out, way out of the way, and may have got damage, I'm not sure.
Oh,
he's reset. That's a massive
So
shame.
that's a
That was
massive-
such a good competition up until that point. Let's have a look
Disappointing.
Yeah, there's about 6 million events that went on just then. Let's have a look. Is this the start of it? Yes. So let's go up top and see what happened. So, oh, right, okay, now I understand. So Simon lost the back end of the car, slid across. I don't know what happened to Russell's car. It didn't look that damaged, to be honest.
No.
Not really sure what's going on there.
He must have picked up some suspension damage.
I think
pulled up like that.
Yeah, I mean,
it must have been worse than we thought.
Yeah, he
clearly.
did definitely get hip checked because Simon's car did lose the back end. And in all of that, Stephen Walker threaded the needle and sneaked through on everybody. Let's just watch that bit again.
It's a decisive move. Look at
So
this.
the hip check is there. Simon's car definitely sideways. Stefan shunted into Russell, which might have done the damage.
Russell, which is probably what did the damage. That
Yeah, I
was
didn't
quite
see
hard
that
hit,
the
wasn't
first
it?
time.
Jamie's out on the grass on the right.
And look at
Walker.
Walker.
It's Simon out
Yeah.
on the right. And yeah, Stephen's away up the road.
Yeah, he's away to the races, quite literally on this occasion.
That one fell out very nice for him, I've got to say. I think he would have got in front eventually anyway, but I think that's probably easier than he thought it was going to be.
Well, yeah, he felt like Moses, I would think. Everything opened up in front of him.
Part of the old Red Sea there.
Yeah. Simon Trendle's lost out as well here, so he's been shuffled right back. He's actually 3 down from his start position. That's not going to do his championship. Well, he's only in 10th because he didn't have his VR set for so many races, so he couldn't race at all, which is a massive shame.
See, he's still got. The thing is, everybody's still in sight. Look, you see, so Simon still can see Stefan, who's in 5th. You know, he's still like spitting distance, isn't he? So
oh yeah.
It's still very competitive, and there's no doubt that Simon can actually still move through the field. There's plenty of time, and that's the joy of an hour-long race. There's the opportunity to go lose places and then make them back, and we see these guys do that time and again, don't we? Great recovery drives.
Yes, we do. And let's just see where Russell is in the standings. He's a little bit down. I think he's missed a few rounds. So he's in about 14th in the standings if the points are right for him. But he's still not going to feel very happy about that. He'll feel very unjustified. So Tony on the chat says probably annoyed. I'll translate that into. So he's quit. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yes, well, yeah, very unfortunate. He was driving a really great race, I think. He was taking a lot of the time with the camera because he was being very prominent tonight. And
yeah, I think he's back in pit road, but I think he's in the session still.
it says is out.
Oh,
on
is
the
it out? Right,
screen.
okay.
Yeah.
In that case, I'll correct that to me being wrong. Oh, and we've had this happen. I think this is probably incidental. I don't think it's anything. It's a bit more than incidental, maybe. So, oh, right, that is the aftermath of all of that went on.
Yes, that was yes.
So
we got a little view of that out the side of the camera, didn't we?
We did, and that is synonymous with wanting to figure out where the other car is to let them through again. It's a bit similar to the first race with Spencer, I think it was, where they're seeking to see if the car can pass them again to give the place back, but of course he'd pulled up by then. Okay, so back again. Russell Cowell is on the chat, so is he available to talk to in the booth? No, he's not. That may have invited too many swear words. I'm not sure. Simon Trendle is visiting pit road, Alan.
Oh,
he is.
That's interesting.
So let's speak with Russell whilst Simon, his utter nemesis apparently, visits pit road. Russell, good evening.
Good evening, guys. You right?
Yeah. I gather you're not, as cars start visiting pit road. So we watched the replay a number of times. We saw Simon lose the back end of his car. He kind of hip checked the front right of your car, and then Stefan had nowhere to go and drove into the back of you. A bit of a sad series of events, to be honest. Did that break something significant?
I don't know if it broke anything, but I was coming on the track, so I was like, I need to get out of the way right now. And by the time I thought, oh, everyone's gone past, I didn't even have time to check. I was already on the button.
Right, okay.
I'm having issues because I've got a new PC and I didn't save my settings for iRacing, so it's like driving the game all over again.
Oh, really? Right, okay.
So I'm having issues with the car, whether or not it's me or not. I've been off it obviously a couple of weeks now since went on holiday and whatnot. So I just need time back in the car, I think, and tonight wasn't the track for that.
No, I mean, I take it it's an improved PC situation that you've gone for. You just haven't yet got it set up in the way that you need it to be.
Yeah, basically.
Right, okay.
It is significantly better, but I'm still struggling for setting everything back up how it was. I literally left myself. We did practice lobby on Monday. Did some practice yesterday, did some more practice today, and it's gradually getting better, but the more time in the car, I guess, is the better thing.
Yeah, and I know you call them a tune. So did you have a tune for today, or was it an arrive and drive situation?
I was using a tune from week 2, I think.
Week 2, right, okay.
I'm not even going to say the name of the track. It's one of the new ones, the new one that's the official for this week. I don't know how you
Is
say
it Rudskogan?
That's the one.
Yeah.
You can say it.
Well, I don't even think that's right. But phonetically, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, you looked good, Russell. You know, you took a really important part in the race. You were making. I know you were struggling a little bit with your computer and getting used to it. You still really drove quite well, I thought. You know.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I've noticed, whoever gets past me first seems to just do one and leave and win the race. So if Spencer doesn't win this, he's done something drastically wrong. Yeah. That's how Jamie got his win at the other track that I started in first. But I think that we used to have a saying in one of the other races we did when we did Forza, and there was always a donk train whenever I started in first.
Right.
People would just sit behind me and they wouldn't be able to get past because I'm quite good at defending it. Now, I wasn't even going for it around here.
You are utterly annoying when you're being chased, because I've been behind you. I don't remember which track it was. It was one of the Japanese ones, I know that.
And you were rapid around there.
Generally, I'm okay around Japanese tracks. Don't know why, because they've got no grip. But you just bolted yourself to the left-hand side, and I can remember being in chat with Gary, and I cannot repeat at least 60% of what I said because it was all swearing at you for being annoying and doing what you needed to do, which was defend. But it didn't half annoy me. I was absolutely livid.
I don't like being that person, but I thought, do you know what? I've got an opportunity here to stick it ahead. Last time we did a race round here, me and Sam were talking about it the other day. It was actually a race where me and Sam was competing for first and second, and I'm sure this is where I got my first win.
Right.
In this car.
Oh, right.
But
Okay.
obviously, the disappointment is that I'm nowhere near where I was.
If you've got like IT rebuild issues and things like that, you can put it to one side. What you should know is that Simon did pull to one side, let half the field pass really, in order to wait and see if you were going to come through or not. Realised that you weren't, and then carried on. But he's quite far down the field now.
Yeah, I feel kind of tight on him because I literally, as Stephen was going through the field, he was like, "They pulled over you, us. Keep going, keep going, keep going." I was like, "I've already pressed the button. It's too late."
Right. Okay.
Going. So, and then I went on to see who it was that stopped because he said someone stopped for you. I didn't know whether it was Stefan or Simon.
It was definitely Simon. Yeah.
Yeah, and I went back to see it. To be fair, the incident wasn't really. Simon didn't do anything wrong. At first, I thought I might have.
Don't know about that. I mean, he did lose the back end of his car from my view. Yeah.
He lost the back end of the car. Well, it's close racing round here, so you're kind of pushing the limits already. I thought I hit the back end of him, like a bit of net code maybe pushed him out, but I've seen the replay and it was like, no, he did just lose the back end. But I think close racing on this track it's really fun, but it gets you sweating because obviously there was like 5 of us in that little bunch then. And I was trying to be as careful as possible because I didn't want to take someone out. But at the same time, that like between Simon, Buck, or Stephen, and Stefan, them 3 are aliens compared to me sometimes. So holding them off was fun, but I think it was a racing incident. I don't really say he's done anything wrong because you don't tend to aim to lose the back end, do you, when you're racing?
No, not at all. And someone like Simon, very much not. He's a consummate professional, generally, is my experience of him. We've got a number of people pitting at the moment, Jamie and Sam being the 2 in shot at the moment. Spencer McCarthy has only got himself an 8-second lead over the rest of the field now. So your prediction of people overtaking you and winning is coming true. It does look like just a tiny little splash and dash, though. They're not still for very long.
I think what we got left, 22 laps. There's only 18 laps at the left. 18 laps left of the race-ish. I reckon they're doing 30 litres. Maybe a little bit left.
Doesn't take long, does it? I mean, you're welcome to carry on and watch the stream that I've put up and commentate with us if you wanted to. If you've got other things to do, then you're equally as welcome to go and commentate with your friends. Hey?
The other reason for pulling over is there's toilets calling. So.
Right, old man syndrome. Off to empty the bladder. Okay. I thought that was just me and you, Alan. What do you think?
Well, I think we can manage, Pete.
I think we can make it. It's just Russell that can't.
Russell in here. You know,
it's not too graphic. It's not a number 1.
Yes. Very nice.
He's going to go and lay some cable. Okay. In that case, anybody you want to shout out to and thank before we let you go and do your business, literally?
Yeah. You guys and everyone, Carl for putting the lobbies up. You guys for obviously putting up with us all the time, and for hosting and putting these sessions on. Well, obviously the races on, not the sessions, and commentating on it. And my teammates, just crack on, get going, hurry up, but you're a bit behind.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. In that case, we'll see you next time out.
See you later, guys.
Russell Cowell.
Well done, Russell. Well, that's Simon just scooted past Roger like he was standing still.
I know. Roger definitely let him go. Like Roger still owes us a pit stop, and Simon doesn't. Jamie Wilson, who's not that far ahead of Simon, you can see both of them in shot. It's like a Team Chimera photo shoot. He has pitted very recently. He's just come out of the pits, actually, a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, it's still shaking out, isn't it?
Yeah, it is at the moment. This is Jason Morris. Looks like Jason Morris is putting pressure on Sam Blease. I can assure you, folks, don't adjust your sets. Shouldn't say that. That's naughty, isn't it? Jason owes us a pit stop, which is why he's up at the pointy end at the minute. not pitted yet is Spencer McCarthy, your leader at the moment, who does fastest lap after fastest lap. He's just done, can you see that on your screen? A 129.662.
Well, interestingly, Stephen was in the 129s just before the pit stops.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he did, yeah. 129.97. Sorry, I've just spotted that. Didn't realise.
So, both fearsome pace.
Yeah.
The 29s.
Rapid, that. Unbelievable. Third place in yet to pit is Stefan. Whatever damage he did incur on the back of Russell's car when he had nowhere else to go will get sorted out with a free repair, fast repair in the pit stop. And then Matt Elmore owes us a pit stop still as well in fourth. Who, I don't know, he'll get overhauled definitely by Sam Blease, who is in fifth and is the first car in the order that has pitted.
How long? Not been stopping for very long, so Matt might
No,
not
they're
be that
not.
far away from Sam.
Exactly. So they're only stopping for roughly 13 seconds.
So he's going to be coming out close, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. I don't think any... Oh, Stephen Walker's going round again, because you'd have already straightened up if you weren't. So, at the minute, Spencer McCarthy has a 10.5 second lead over Stephen Lucky Wookie Walker, who leads Stefan Goebel by 5.8 seconds. And Matt Elmore is led by Stefan by 3.7 seconds.
Oh, there's nothing in these times. Look at that. Matt's
not,
doing the same times as Stephen. You know, it's like, wow, they're so tight. There's nothing in it. It's just tense, not even tense sometimes.
Spencer McCarthy regularly under 130 though, so he's absolutely putting it down on the track.
Well, the gap's 10 seconds. Let's see what happens.
Further back, Roger Morton has found himself one JB Dejoux. JB in the livery for Remembrance Day with the poppies on the car.
Has JB done his pit stop? He did, didn't he?
He did do his pit stop, yes.
So Roger did his early, didn't he?
Roger has not been in.
Has he not?
No.
Ah. Well, that's good news.
Car number 92 has not visited pit road, and I think Spencer is going to break his own lap record here. Yeah, he has just a 129.654. I saw two purple sectors pop up in front of me.
Wow.
Look at him. He's
flying.
absolutely ragging it.
He's flying. He's
Matt
obviously in a hurry.
That's brilliant. Matt Elmore to pit road. Matt Elmore to pit road. I don't know where Sam Blease is on track. Oh, he's going to take that position back. And Jason Morris to pit road, who lets Jamie Wilson take that position from him, who has already pitted. Off he goes. Yeah, everybody's...
Roger's still not gone in?
No, Roger's going again. Still tracking JB. JB's pulling away from him a little. I honestly think the Civic's suffering tonight. Roger's proven recently in more than one series that he's more competitive.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would expect him to be a little more on the pace. Because he has been, hasn't he, in the last few weeks?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But
been very
he'll be racking
surprised.
that car as hard as he can. He's such a racer. He's a real racer, you know, Roger.
Yep.
He's got a racer's heart.
Stephen Walker to pit road, and Stefan Goebel has followed him in, which means that Sam Blease is the next car to circulate past them. He was already in second before the pit stop, so no surprise he's going to overhaul them here. Although, Stephen Walker...
Oh, come on.
Oh,
It's
you are
tight.
kidding me. Oh, it's not as tight as you think, though, look.
Yeah, it's still in the pit lane.
Yeah.
So, here we are. There's Stefan as well.
Yep, and Roger Morton
Where's
has now
Simon?
entered pit road.
Right.
Simon is back here. Let me get a better camera angle on that. So Simon has got Stefan to chase again. Behind him, Matt Elmore, not quite as close as he was, but I'm sure he will be by the time he gets round. The only car not to have paid us a visit in pit road is Spencer. And he's in there now.
How did he eat that fuel out when he was
I
in the
have
front? He
no
couldn't get any
idea
tow.
what is going on with him. He's got a solar-powered car, Alan.
Fantastic.
His car is powered on love alone.
Well, it's working well.
It
so
is.
He must have a big heart.
Absolutely. So Sam Blease, 36 seconds behind him at the minute. You would think that Spencer McCarthy would be out.
He's going to be in and out comfortably, isn't he?
Well, yeah. Like by a massive amount of time. I mean, that's ridiculous. So he's
time to get his flask out.
Yeah, well, I think he had a pizza while he was in the pit road as well. Look at this. Are we going to see a car? Yeah, we are. Right, okay.
There we are. So, considering how competitive this is, he's pulled a fair old gap.
And he just.
The way they've cycled through the pit stops, and they've still got his fair old gap there. Nobody's doing anything about it.
Right, well,
So,
we're back.
but it's 10 seconds. If you remember, he had 10 seconds, so he's actually lost a second.
He has. You're right, and he's taken that an entire second longer, or more than that, over Sam Blease in the pit stop. So you are absolutely on it, Alan. Nothing gets past you. This is, now that we've done all the pit stops and everybody's back where they're supposed to be, we've got competitive racing again, which is good. So this is Chris Needham on Jason Morris. He's closing in rapidly. When did Jason pit? Jason pit on lap 25. Chris Needham pitted on lap 17. Now, you won't take tyres in this series, will you? There's no point.
No.
So this is pure on pace now. That's a bit optimistic stepping out from that distance from Chris. But sometimes it puts
Jason's
the other
hard to
driver
get by, isn't he? We've seen.
He is, yeah.
We've seen before that Jason defends like a fiend.
Yeah,
He does.
a fiend. That's a word that's underused in the vernacular and the vocabulary. Absolutely.
These are going to have a fun time together, I suspect. Quite a while.
I think so. This is your closest battle on track, and it's getting closer and closer every lap. He's going to try the inside through here. That's not the opportune line, although Jason Morris makes a mash of that. He's absolutely
He's more
ploughed.
interested in making sure his line is where he wants it.
Yeah.
From pace at the moment.
And folks, if you're thinking Pete doesn't change the camera much, it's because otherwise you get this, seeing cars from behind moving away, or you get this, which is just one car in the screen, or you can have this, which is a much more better view of seeing what's going on. So that's why I'm sticking with camera 2 for now.
How stupid it looks, isn't it? You don't notice it going up, but you notice it going down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the way it affects the braking going into China land.
Yeah, China Beach, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Let's go on board again. Let's just view this. So we're in the tow of Jason Morris, heading towards China Beach now. And this does roll away from you. It looks like it's camber width, but it's not. You hit that curb and it pushes you out. Camber's gone now. It comes back to you through madness here. And then you hit the S's, which is this. I like this section. This is one of my favourite bits.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Isn't it? Yeah, it's great.
And you just have to keep your foot down.
Yep, don't blink, don't lift, just keep going, and then off the gas through this corner. Don't even know what this is called.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful in the car though. The way the car just comes over and goes a bit light.
It
And,
goes very light, doesn't it? Yeah.
oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
And your brain does all the physics for you. It makes you feel like you've lifted. This feels utterly off camber and very wrong. But the last corner there, that feels much better as you come through. The camber feels with you.
Yes,
but
just as well.
Yeah,
you need that exit to get here, don't you? You need that
right.
good exit from there, otherwise, you know.
Yeah. Bad line from Jason, but equally bad line here from Chris Needham. And then this is the climb into Keyhole. It's quite steep. You hold that inside line quite tight, probably not as tight as these two have done, and then get back on the gas. You can diamond the corner and get a better run, but it doesn't necessarily do you the best advantage.
Chris will be hoping that Jason makes a mistake.
Oh, without.
He's going to need an error because, you know, if Jason keeps his car planted the way he's doing, I don't see Chris getting by him.
Jason's making the odd error, so he was wide in turn 1. He clipped
Yeah.
the curb 2 corners back. Chris is now crawling all over him like a bad rash. I
don't think he's great with the pressure though, you know, Jason. I don't think the pressure doesn't get to him, I don't think, that much.
No, I think you're right. I mean, I don't remember him crashing out that much. And you would remember it with a car that vibrantly liveried, wouldn't you, really?
Well, I've seen him, and we have seen him in the last few weeks, you know, really do some sterling, long, race-long defensive.
Oh,
he got
line.
in there. Oh, that was beautiful.
It wasn't it just Chris Needham absolutely sized him up. Oh, no!
Oh!
What happened there?
Oh, Jason Stotwood. That's causing trouble.
Right, we're going to look at this from above. It seems to be the opportune way around here to assess the carnage. So, Chris Needham,
like that.
mega drive onto the start-finish straight, pulls right alongside. So what happens next?
Well, he's got, oh.
I'd say that was definitely Jason turning in on the back of his car. I don't think there's any way to explain that otherwise. It did look like someone who races with one screen. That probably makes no sense to others watching, but I know what I mean. I'm going to wait and click chopper now because it'll put us right behind them. So I think that Jason turns left on him. Or
Yes,
does
yes.
Chris stay line true
It
without
seems to
turning
me that Chris is staying on a straighter line and going to turn in later, and Jason's turning in early.
Yeah.
And that's contact.
So let's just go on board with Chris. We're going to autopsy this one to death. So he fires it out of here. Fantastic.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful run.
Does he actually turn in at all, or is he true all the way to the crash? Kind of starts to, but not much.
He was still going pretty much plumb straight, wasn't he?
If I was assessing that, I'd be putting that down to 2 people doing the wrong thing at the same time.
Yes. Well, I think he was just trying. I think he just had a different line, maybe. You have to look at his earlier laps to see what his line is. But if his line's to stay straighter and then turn sharply left, and Jason's line is to take the early, because there's 2 good lines around there.
There is. Well, there's quite a few, to be fair.
Yeah, so maybe they've just had a conflict of line, I'm thinking.
Yeah. I think being on the inside, I would expect the inside car to turn in earlier and probably slightly slower, because obviously you're cutting down the angle of turn, aren't you? So I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest. I think there's equal amounts of responsibility there.
Tough one, yeah. No, I think we'll call that one a draw, because we can't separate that, can we?
I don't think so. No.
And I don't think there's any way of sorting it out. So that tells me there isn't any sorting it.
And we are massively intelligent, so if we can't work it out, nobody can. Dead simple.
Pretty much. I went to school. I went to college and all that, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it was very exciting.
Yeah, I drank my own body weight of alcohol at university.
Fantastic.
Weekly.
Oh, well, I was beyond that because I was sent to Cumbria County Council paid for me and my degree.
Cumbria?
Yes.
And so you lived in Carlisle?
No, I lived
No?
in Cockermouth.
Oh, Cockermouth, right. You must have drank your own body weight of, hang on a minute, what's the brew that's over that way?
Jennings.
Cumberland
It's,
Ale.
Well, Cumberland Ale is a more modern incarnation. It was Jennings Bitter, what was on the handballs in the pubs.
Right,
And that was
okay.
the local beer.
Right.
It was a beautiful beer. It is beautiful. I lived right next to the brewery at one time, in a little cottage.
Okay. I didn't live that far away, believe it or not. I've lived close to that twice. Silverdale's probably the closest I've lived, which is Southern Lakes, and Hexham, which is not that far away.
That's just further away, yeah. We used to go to Nenthead. I had friends in Nenthead.
Yeah, lovely place, yeah.
There used to be gigs. We used to have little festivals there. We used to go and play there at Adam's farm. He had a farm.
Right, okay. That's cool. I
Yeah,
do know Nenthead, but I don't know any of the farms around there. It's a small world, isn't it, Alan?
Oh, it is. It is. Well, maybe we're just well-travelled.
Or that, yeah. So this is very much on now. This is Matt Elmore and Simon Trendle. I am convinced that Civic just doesn't travel well here. We see him too much at the front and leading or even winning races.
This is not Simon that we're familiar with, is it?
No. And then
because he's incredibly competitive because of his skill.
Yes.
And he's always at the front end, threatening. And,
he is. It'd be interesting to speak to Jamie or Simon at the end of the race, understand what the situation is / was, because it just seems out of character for them. Stefan ploughing the carousel there, but he's getting very, very close to the back of Jamie's car now.
I think Jamie's doing a really stand-up job, isn't he?
Oh, Jamie's doing great. The only 3 cars in front of Jamie Wilson at the minute are Stephen, well, we'll go in order. Spencer McCarthy, who's only got an 11-second lead. Sam Blease, who's got 3 seconds over Stephen Lucky Wookie Walker, who has 9 seconds over these two. That's on his, over Jamie Wilson. These two, so this is Stefan versus Jamie. And then 2.5 seconds back, you can see it, literally see it.
Oh, hello.
That's it's going to
Is
be a
he
send
going to dive down the middle?
Yeah. It wasn't a send in the end, it was just a threat. So, but these are paired off, and the Civics seem to be on the losing side of this. The Elantra in this exercise, the Audi in this exercise.
I think, in general, I would say that Simon would have the edge over Matt normally, and with him being in front of Matt, it would tend to drive away from him, not being threatened by him. Matt's really threatening Simon at the moment, isn't he?
He's crawling all over him. He can't get him off. He's like, gonna have to have him surgically removed at some point, because he's just with him the entire time.
Haven't we seen a lot of that tonight, though?
Yes.
Seen so much of this bumper-to-bumper action. Goodness me, it's no wonder we've had a couple of incidents.
Yeah,
Russell was very sporty, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He could have been, maybe should have been, seriously annoyed by what happened. He's done well there to hold his cool. And now this is on. This is very on.
He's got the run. So
now we've seen Jamie hold it out round the outside of here.
It's all on the brakes now. Stefan's got it.
He has. That's great. Oh, has he? Ooh. Bit wriggly.
Yeah, he's got it this time.
Yeah, that's a done deal now. I don't know how long for, but yeah.
Well, he had to work for that. Got his opportunity and took it, but crikey, Jamie's not giving up. I think it'd be fair to say that.
Yeah, it's no different behind them either. Look at this.
He doesn't seem discouraged. And look at these two. Yeah.
I don't know which pairing to look at next.
It's like having a positive and negative going off.
Yes, it is.
Got...
Stefan's already pulled a little lead there.
Yeah.
Nearly half a second.
He was being held up, you know. I do think he was being held up a little bit. So, because like you said, you know, I think they are slightly, I think, you know, Jamie and Simon are slightly down on pace overall.
Yeah, they seem to be.
Because I would expect Simon to be chasing Sam or with Sam. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Or contending with Spencer.
I'll tell you what, by the end of the race, maybe not. We've only got like 5 minutes left. I thought Stephen was closing so much on Sam that he'd be on him by the end of the race. I don't think that'll happen. It's just not enough, I don't think. There's only going to be 3 laps. 4 laps, sorry.
Great drive by Stephen. We knew he was quick, but Sam's, you know, been rapid. Spencer's pulled out another 3 seconds.
I know what is going on. There's nothing on the event tracker to explain it. We've seen all the action since Chris Needham went off track.
I think he's taking his Superman pills tonight.
I think he has.
I'm going to get some.
All the action is around Team Chimera cars at the moment, so they're getting their sponsorship worth.
Who sponsors Green Wheels Limited?
Yeah. I've no idea, to be honest. Spectre 6, I don't know who their sponsors are. Team Chimera have a number on there. Not much in
Spectre 6
this.
is that Spectre 6 or
Who knows? They've got 16 different names.
It's purple. He's got purple. So
Yeah, that must be
Spectre 6
purple. Yeah, and then there's silver apparently, and then there's 6 the number and 6 the word. There's all sorts going on. Couldn't be more confused if I tried.
Well, we don't much care about that. What we care about is the driver inside, don't we?
Oh, absolutely. Look at this. He's on him. Utterly on him. And they are.
Matt will be relishing this, though, to put pressure
yeah.
on Simon. He'll be loving it.
Absolutely. How many opportunities do you get to do that? They're closing in, by the way, on Jamie in front. Not massively, but Stefan is definitely pulling a gap. You can see it when we get round this next corner. So, bottom of your screen, Stefan, Jamie.
Goodness, yeah. No time wasted.
Not at all.
They must have a second the lap.
It's something like that, actually. What have they got? So, Jamie did a 1:30.4 and Simon behind him did a 1:30.2, but Matt Elmore behind him did a 1:30.1. So we are closing up on one another here.
The times have been tight all night, though, haven't they? For
yes.
The lead, even though the leaders have been separated on the track, they've all been pulling those 1:30 lap times.
Definitely, yeah.
And you know, dipping into the 29s. Because 29 is a stunning lap, so you don't expect to see that many of them.
No.
I'm glad they're not going around doing consistent 29s anyway. Correctly, I wouldn't sleep at night.
No. Russell on the chat says he feels bad for Simon for backing off to see where he was on the track, but we'll see how he ends. Because he's in 6th currently. He's under a lot of pressure from Matt Elmore.
Probably enjoying a different experience, actually, with bending somebody off. He doesn't get a chance to actually do long defensive drives generally, does he?
Not really. He's usually the one doing all the aggression.
Yeah.
Not aggression in a negative sense, aggression in a positive sense. Sam Blease is starting to get under pressure from Stephen Walker further ahead. It's not coming so much just yet. We're going to go back and watch Matt Elmore. You can't even see him. He's that near to the back of Simon Trundle's car at the minute.
Desperate to get the run, but I really don't think he's going to get it, you know.
I can't see it either.
Unless Simon makes a mistake, and he's very prone not to doing that.
Well, we've seen him lose the back end at this next corner. That was offline and under pressure, to be fair. Under pressure to do the overtake, and because Stefan was crawling all over him. So he either had to give a position or get a position. But we'll see what happens here. Sam Blease, Stephen Walker is, you can see it on your screens, folks. It's coming down half a second now. Extended out, but concertinaing up and down as Spencer McCarthy. What is wrong with you, you alien? A 129.5.
Goodness, Spencer.
One life needed.
Saved it for the end.
Saved it for the end. Right, this is getting hot now because these guys are really reeling in. Jamie Wilson ahead of them. A bit of flashing lights, so you need to die, Matt Elmore, because I really don't like people who flash lights. We're done.
So could do
Are we
it.
done?
Yeah, we're done.
How are we done?
There's a lot of checkered flags.
Gosh, there is. Sorry, we both got caught out. We got transfixed by all of the action that we missed the end of the race.
Well, I was enjoying the checkered flags.
Well,
I just didn't want to say anything. What a race. That was as engrossing as you could get, isn't it? We've had a real run just these last few weeks. We've seen some tremendous racing.
We have. It's been a brilliant portion of the season.
Yeah,
Jason Morris over the line.
Well done.
Last to finish will
Jason.
be Roger Morton.
Well, Chris is still out there. He's gone 3 laps down.
Is he still touring?
That.
No, he's done. He was that far down against the leader. Roger Morton finishes, does a bit of a wiggle.
Well done, Rog. Fine drive.
I just do think that Civic wasn't able to do it this time.
You know, the driver of the day is going to be a pain tonight.
Oh, God, yeah. You've just made me remember that I've got to do that. I have no idea what to do now. Right, so. Have we got a results page for the feature race? Yes, we do. Right, so we'll get ourselves a bit quiet. And we'll go, your race winner for the feature race tonight was Spencer McCarthy for Geodesic. His teammate Sam Blease followed him home. Some way back, though, 14 seconds back, I think it was in the end. Stephen Walker finished third for Spectre 6. Stefan Goebel finished fourth for VTS Esports. Jamie Wilson finished fifth for Team Chimera with his teammate Simon Trundle in sixth behind him. Matt Elmore finished seventh. Eighth was JB Dejoux. Kylie Haddington finished in ninth for RWC Racing Red. Jason Morris finished 10th for, I think it is iRace Esports. I think that's right. Roger Morton finished 11th for Work Guard by Result. Chris Needham 12th for RWC Racing Red. Russell Cowell, we saw him in an incident, didn't finish. 26 laps down and 40 laps down and didn't start was Carl Hardy. Shame he didn't get to compete. I'm just going to press a few buttons in order to get us ready for our interviews. Just bear with me for a moment while I do that, and I do this, and I do this, and I don't even remember who won the first race now, so I'm going to be utterly useless when it comes to things like that. I'm going to have to ask the drivers. We shall place this one on the window, and Yeah, look at me juggling all these tasks.
Oh, you're awesome. You're doing a fantastic job, Pete.
Thank you. That's good to hear. So we are going to bring in the first of our winners tonight.
You kind of
Caught him in the middle of a conversation. Spencer
Yeah.
McCarthy, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Wow.
It's been a better evening for me than my day. I've had a bit of a rubbish day, so
Oh
that was
dear.
a nice bonus.
Sorry to hear that. Sorry about your day, obviously.
Just
Hopefully,
work. Just work.
just work. Right. In that
Yeah.
case, work can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get paid for that. I get paid for a bad day, so it's fine.
Yeah. I don't have many good days at work. That's why I do commentary. Anyway, great racing tonight. I mean, wow. Your first race, you lost it in Keyhole, and
Yep.
then did a drive back of sensational proportions, to be honest. And then in the second race, you took home all the glory. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant racing.
All the glory.
All the
Yeah,
glory.
cheers, mate.
And I think you ended up with a 14-second lead at the end, eventually. Imperious, we saw some brilliant overtaking. Alan will talk to you about that in a minute, from you, round the outside on certain corners. Did you just have the Veloster absolutely hooked up and ready to race with a brilliant setup? Or do you just love Mid-Ohio that much that you can just ace it round here?
I do seem to go around here. I quite like the track. I think it's one of those technical tracks that no one ever feels like they get the perfect lap that often. I think was it T3, the downhill into the right hander?
Yes.
That the braking into there and the turning point and how much you stay in the middle of the track. It's such a knife edge all through that section there, and I seem to have a decent flow through it, but I can't say that I've ever think that I've aced it. And I think it's one of those challenging circuits that you just keep pushing at, and I think that kind of proves, that even when I get into the lead, every lap I'm just trying to find that extra little 100th here and 100th there, and just pushing. And it's slowly the lap times are coming down. So yeah, no, it's an enjoyable circuit. I must admit, I do like it. But yeah, this evening, I mean, race one was a little bit of a couple of mistakes from me. Yeah, obviously I saw Steve looking up the inside, and he braked a little bit late, or at the same time a bit late as we went into turn 2 on that first lap. And I just thought, okay, so I rolled off a little bit just to give myself a slightly wider entry in there to give him a bit of space. But I thought, I'm enough ahead that I'll probably, have a good run out. And then, yeah, just the back started to come round as I kind of lifted off the brakes and reapplied. It just sort of went a bit, and that was it. Once the rears go on this, you just have to you have to wait really until the whole thing grips up again. And obviously, yeah, by that point I was down in, was it 6th or 7th?
I think, yeah, 6th, I think. You become a passenger at that point, don't you? And we saw Simon Trendle do the same thing in the feature race. But we saw you go around the outside into China Beach, which is turn 3 that you were mentioning. China Beach is one of those turns that people don't realise. Being as far left as you can in order to tip it in isn't the optimal line, is it? Because the track has almost negative camber with you if you're too far to the left on your entry.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise that until I got into a Dallara IndyCar Classic. The first one that I raced.
Yeah.
And somebody, and I can't honestly tell you now, I think it was Rafa Kaczarczyk, who nobody knows in here, but I used to race with him.
Yeah.
He said, don't be so far to the left. Move it in about 4 foot. And you'll feel that the car hooks up so much better. So what you're saying absolutely reflects what I was told many years ago.
Oh, well, I've never been told that, so maybe that's my dilemma. Yeah, the whole thing squirms so much going downhill into that corner, and you kind of want it to grip up because it looks like it's all cambered at the midpoint, but it still feels like such a scrabble where the back's trying to come round on you as you're tipping it in. So yeah, no, it's an interesting track. Yeah, and
It
yeah,
is. It's
we
a
went on
racing track, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's delicious, and it's like it's very what you said about you can never actually feel like you've done the perfect lap. There's always something more, isn't there? There's always something there on the edges.
It's every corner's a compromise to the next, isn't it? You're trying to hold it one side to the track for the next corner, and it's a sequence of bends that once you get it floating through, it really is how well the car transitions from one to the next, and It's interesting.
Beautiful flow, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
beautiful flow. Honestly, it's provided fantastic racing tonight. It's been an absolute feast of fantastic driving by everybody.
Yeah.
Really competitive, but so clean and careful, but
Wow.
so close.
Well,
we haven't quite mentioned my my
no, I was
contact
just
with
getting to
Stephen.
that. So let's talk about the incident into Keyhole with Stephen.
Yeah.
So we saw
Well,
you.
you saw the replay. What do you guys?
We saw you move to the left. We saw Stephen straighten his car up. We saw Stephen move and yourself move in kind
At
of
the same time.
yes, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you came together. We said at the time that's a racing incident of two people both very much on it. We saw you
Well,
pull over to the side of the road after the Keyhole turn.
we're hoping that he wasn't absolutely annihilated, but yeah, then I
he
looked in the
was.
mirror and saw his bumper disappear, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Well, his bumper disappeared, reappeared, and then his wheel fell off, which he probably didn't see. So
No.
I don't know what Stephen thinks about that. We'll find out shortly. I guess you were talking to him before you joined
I
us.
was, yeah. It was a tricky one. It was one of those confusing. Like the moments when you're walking towards someone on the sidewalk on the pavement. Just for the American viewers there, and you move one way and they move at the same time, and then you move
Yeah.
back and they move, and in
Yeah.
the end you feel like you're dancing with them, and then you're almost like hitting them in the face. It was a kind of a bit like that. So, he knew what I was going to do. I think all day long. So because I kind of kept it left. It's typically I suppose he obviously knows me by now. And then I was going to come across if he didn't cover, which he kind of didn't. He was kind of
No.
leaving a car's width on the outside, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
you're kind of leaving the door open there. But as I went to turn the wheel, his car moved, and I thought, oh, he is defending. So I then turned back, but then he didn't move. He only moved a foot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
it was like, oh, now I'm literally just right behind him. I was almost expecting him to turn away to the inside, and so I had more space on the outside. But yeah, it was one of those things, and all of a sudden I'm like an inch behind him as we got to the braking area, and I'm like, I can't see what's going on now, and that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw that, and we kind of interpreted that in the same way, didn't we, Alan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just it was impossible to interpret, really. It was just one of those things, wasn't it?
There was no malice there. He knows
No,
that. We've
never,
raced with each other a lot. I mean,
no.
we had a
never-
good few laps side by side, didn't we?
Oh,
But
it was
as before.
brilliant. It was
Fantastic
brilliant.
racing tonight, Spencer. Honestly, it's been an absolute treat. It has.
Cheers,
So
Alan.
much side by side, so much skill on display, so much natural ability and talent. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, it's great racing with Stephen. It's we're literally door handling it through some of those corners, and it's I know what he's going to do. He knows what I'm going to do. Hopefully, on most part, and we give each other the space. But yeah, I couldn't quite pull it off through that section for the twisty bits. I just couldn't quite get the run out of the I don't know what it is, the fifth turn. Is it the left hander around the outside there?
Yeah.
Just couldn't get enough through there. But yeah, it was good fun.
Cool. In that case, we will see you next time out. Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
JB for his nice accent through the race. I quite liked sitting there with JB. He's quite a chilled guy. And Sam obviously. Kind of always good to work with each other. We had a decent geodesic night tonight. So yeah, and obviously to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks very much. And Sam, wherever Sam is, or is Sam not on tonight?
No, Sam's
no,
on
Sam's not
holiday. He's got a rare holiday.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got an actual holiday. Oh,
I am. Yeah, I'm multitasking again tonight. So apologies for the broadcast.
Who's doing the work? I'm drinking the whiskey.
Yeah, do that.
Good lad.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, Spencer McCarthy.
Cheers, guys.
So we will
lovely,
find.
wasn't it? What a lovely interview.
That was a great interview. Yeah, I like that one. That was good. Next in, we will bring in second place in the feature race, Sam Blees. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sam.
A very successful night's racing for you. We saw you battling it out in the first race, getting yourself a result. And in the second race, I can't figure out how many positions you moved forward. 6 in the end. Same as Spencer, actually. Yeah, you shadowed him all the way through. Got hunted down by Stephen Walker in the end after his altercation with your teammate in the first race. We saw you, he was closing in on you at the end there, but that Audi of yours, and the Audis in general, seem to have a good run of it tonight.
Yeah, I don't think the Audi is the optimum car around here, but it was fairly easy to drive quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. We were just chatting in the waiting room, Jamie and Stephen and I, then while you were talking to Spencer, that something about the tyres this week felt different, quite different from last week. Previously, you just push and push and push, and you get faster and faster and faster.
Usually, yeah.
And that wasn't quite happening here. We all sort of plateaued much earlier, and certainly, like you mentioned, that Stephen was chasing me down at the end.
Yeah.
What I was doing, I was trying to get the fastest lap, so I was doing like a slower lap to cool him off,
Yeah,
and then a fast
running
lap
it.
to push
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
and then So I don't know if it's just corner after corner coming really quickly, and we were overheating them or something. They weren't dropping off massively, but they did feel a bit different today. So yeah, it was a good result. So I was happy with it. The car felt okay. It was really good in the first race. It never quite felt as nice in the second. But
Right. Okay. So what? Over time, it felt steadily worse.
no, I
Or
don't
just
know.
didn't get any better.
I think it was probably just me, to be honest.
Right.
I probably just in the first race, I just found a nice rhythm early on. I didn't have anyone in front of me because I got a couple of overtakes done.
Yep.
At the start, which was nice. So I was just able to relax into it, keep an eye on my mirror, watch what was going on behind me. And in the second race, I don't know if it was having to push or the temperature was lower, so it should have been better. But I just never quite found the same rhythm. I never quite got the same pace.
Right.
But
okay.
even if I had and I was 100% perfect, I wouldn't have caught Spencer. He was too quick in that Veloster, and him driving it. I had no hope of catching him today.
He was rapid, wasn't he?
He was so good. Yeah, I can't. I think had he got past Stephen in the first race, it would have been very touch and go for me as to whether I could have kept it ahead of him, because it was not easy to pass, but he was much faster.
Yeah, we saw that anybody driving a Civic tonight struggled massively, and we don't know really why yet until we speak to one of them.
I think it was straight line speed.
Straight line,
yeah. I went past Jamie. I got a worse exit out of turn 2. So I was alongside him. He got a better exit, so I pulled in behind him, and I still overtook him into turn 3. It was a bit of a lunge on the braking, but
still fair, isn't it?
The Audi was very good at sort of acceleration through out of turn 1, out of turn 2.
Alan, I might have been right for once on an analysis.
Goodness me!
Giddy aunt!
It's just as well I'm sitting down, Pete.
Isn't
it really
it
is. Honestly, I've gone dizzy.
Clock is right twice a day, isn't it?
I know, yeah. I could have blown you over with a little feather.
It's on a roll this month. That's he was right about something last week as well.
Yeah, we've forgotten what that was already, though. That's
I know, but at least I've remembered it happened though.
So Sam,
write this one down.
yeah, make a record of this one. So Sam, anybody you'd like to have a shout out to before we let you go and celebrate?
I would just like to say, great racing from everybody who turned up. It was really good fun. It was really clean. Unlucky to Stephen for the contact in the first race, but well done for his comeback. He did really well. Spencer had amazing pace. I could battle with Jamie. I good little side by side with Stefan for a bit. So yeah, good racing all round. Thanks to everyone who showed up. As always, thanks for you guys for hosting and putting it on. I don't know what we'd do on a Wednesday without you. But it's always good racing here. So thanks for hosting, thanks for the broadcast, and I will look forward to watching that back tomorrow.
Yeah, you certainly will, because you feature quite a lot. And we will see you next time out. Sam, please.
Cheers, guys.
Sam.
Thank you.
That was grand.
Awesome stuff. Right, so we will now move on to third place. Third place in the feature race. And probably sadly, like right down the field because of an incident in the first race. Stephen Walker, not so lucky in the first race, Wookie Walker.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So we did an autopsy on it with Spencer.
We tried to.
We tried to. Yeah, we watched it a few times because it's unusual, let's say, for yourself and Spencer to come together. We see you racing side by side or nose to tail so regularly. And it really did look like, you know how drivers have a level of communication as you're driving and you get used to other drivers. It looked like you you'd both read the wrong line almost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we were just talking about it, and as we came out of that first corner, I knew he had a bit of a better exit. So I was like, well, I'll just stay kind of in the middle. Well, I'll stay towards the right, and then as he went to the left, I went into the middle,
Yes,
but
we saw
like
that. Yeah.
towards the left of the middle, if that makes sense. Not all the way to the left, because I knew we've raced that much that I knew by him putting his car all the way as far over to the left as it would go, I knew he was gonna cut across towards the braking zone and go down the inside. And I was like, well, that's when I noticed that. So I was like, I'm just going to go in the middle of the road. So then he can either go down to the left or he can go down to the right. But as that happened, we were a bit too close to the braking zone. So he couldn't see. He was right up my bumper. I braked where, to be fair, I even slightly missed my braking point, I think, when I looked back on it. And yeah, and it was just unfortunate. Like it could have easily have happened the other way around. I'm not annoyed. Obviously, I'm frustrated because we were having a good race, but I should have really just gone right. There's the inside. You go catch up, Sam. Maybe you can hold him up, and I'll tag along, and then see what happens. Like I should have thought more about it, but at the time, I was like, no, I need to finish second. I need to finish second because I need to, otherwise I'm going to lose even more points
But
to Sam.
that's the racing spirit
Oh,
inside,
that's
isn't it?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'd gone side by side for it. Like I said, we've discussed it. I'm not angry at him. It's just one of them things. Like I say, it could have been easily the other way around. It could have happened with anyone else. It's just racing. It's unfortunate. These things kind of balance out over the course of a season. So we're only here to race and have fun. Like there's no point
Man,
getting angry.
the amount of close racing we've seen tonight, it's amazing that we didn't have 10 times more
Oh,
incidents.
yeah,
You know,
unbelievable.
Yeah, it looked some of the stuff I was in, it was really fun, and it looked fun when I was seeing it in front and behind. So it's a track that I think invites the type of racing that happens. So there's inevitable something was going to happen. It's just unfortunate it was Spencer and I, but one of them things, just race them.
Isn't it funny that we talk about certain tracks in the world, some of the famous tracks, and then you kind of get boring races sometimes, and then you come to somewhere less well known like Mid Ohio, and you get an absolutely brilliant race like this. You know, these tracks they're understated and they're
underappreciated, aren't they?
underappreciated as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
this is one of my favorite tracks, or it's a track that I like a lot. It's got a really good
Yeah.
section at the end. There's a couple of straights to drag people in. It's really difficult to drop people that are even remotely near your pace. And yeah, like you say, it just works well for a really good race. And yeah, like you say, these tracks are very underestimated as tracks for racing. Like you can go to Spa, and while yeah, you could have a good race, it normally separates loads. But here,
yes.
everyone's got some sort of battle, and you know, it was good fun. I enjoyed the second race. I ran out of fuel as we crossed the line, so
Did you really?
Perfect
yeah,
fueling.
Yeah, that's
literally,
excellent
it started
calculation.
spluttering.
That's what you meant, isn't it?
Well, I blagged it, and Russ had to help me.
So, second race. Let's talk about that for a little bit longer. You move forward 10 places from your grid spot. Obviously, you were well out of position when you started, but that's impressive on its own. You scythed your way through. You were competing with Sam at the very end of the race for that second place. That speaks volumes. That's amazing. Do you think that? Oh, I mean, we spoke about Sam. Spoke to Sam about this. Do you think that the Hondas in particular suffered tonight because of something to do with that car? Because the Audis seemed imperious. Obviously, you can say that the Veloster did as well with Spencer at the wheel, but it seemed like the Audi had something here that it didn't have in other races.
Mm, I wouldn't. I mean, I struggled when we were doing the first lot of practice. I really struggled. It wasn't until I had to do extra practice last night to figure out how to drive the car around this track. To be honest,
Wow. Okay.
I
Ah.
drove the Honda last season, and I'm sure we did this track last season because everyone had changed to the Elantra. So suddenly, instead of finishing in the top 3 or top 4, I was struggling to get in the top 6 because it was at a massive disadvantage. But with the changes, I wouldn't necessarily say the other cars are better than it here. Like Simon and Jamie still drove it really well. but I don't know how much practice they did. And I think the Veloster probably just suited the track a little bit, and Spencer's obviously just Spencer. He's stupidly quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have. To be honest, I can't really say without having a go in Honda around here. And I'll be honest, I don't want to do that. I've done that before.
Yeah. That's
You'd have to
yesterday's
ask
news.
Jamie.
No, that's cool. Well, thanks for a massively entertaining evening tonight. Anybody you'd like to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, you guys obviously for putting it on, doing a commentary. I really appreciate it. The rest of the guys racing, Spencer for being stupidly quick and like I say, no hard feelings whatsoever. Sam for winning. JB gets a shout out. Actually, he drove really, really well. We had a good little battle. It was not easy at all. And then yeah, my brother for watching. Peace. That's about it. Yeah. Cheers,
Yeah,
guys.
nice one. In that case, we'll see you next time out. Stephen Walker.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
That's well.
Right then, and last in the interview room, but very much never least, if I can press all the right buttons, I might actually get him into the booth. Is Jamie Wilson? Good evening.
Hello, I didn't think you dragged me up. I'm just a mere pleb finishing wherever I finished.
I think I don't
Ooh.
actually. I don't know where you finished in the first one.
7th, 8th,
Something like that. Yeah. So let's talk about race 1 first, or both races actually. In the Civic, is it a Civic thing? Because of the 3 that were in the field, they all seem to struggle tonight, and I don't know whether it's a setup thing, a Civic thing. It's very unlike yourself and Simon to be not absolutely right at the front. It has to be said. What is it? Is it?
I think it's a bit column A, column B. So yes, to a point. I think this track kind of. It's not the worst track we could possibly go to, but it's not a great one either. We're not very good at coming out of quite long, slow corners like the hairpin.
Right.
Just like getting the punch out of the corner, we don't really have enough of that, and then we don't have a long enough straight here to sort of offset that. So
that's a big disadvantage, Jamie. Coming out
around here
on a twisty track. Yeah,
there are worse tracks. I mean, I really like Wintergatan, for example, but I think that might be another one where we have the same kind of issue, and also like Snetterton would be another one. But that's it's not egregiously awful or whatever. I think for me, I just didn't have no time to practice recently, and I just threw whatever set up onto it and was like, that'll do, and it wasn't the greatest.
I've been right twice tonight.
Matey, you're on a roll.
What is wrong with me? I did say, I think it's the cars punch out the corner. That was where I got my one when I was talking to Sam. And then lack of practice or inability to find the time to practice in this conversation. So I've been right twice in one night. Oh my god! I need a nap. I need a sleep.
And then just to explain the other, I can't explain Roger obviously, but in terms of Simon absolutely despises this track.
Does he really?
Yeah, because he always ends. It doesn't matter what car it is. But he always finds himself just missing that last bit of pace around here. He's never been able to find it in anything for years. Literally,
well, I've not got
even
it.
going back to pre-iRacing, this goes back to.
Whoa! So, right. Okay.
Yeah, he's just always just been like, Mid-Ohio. So, yeah, there's a degree.
That explains quite a lot, doesn't it?
It does, and it's. I don't think that's a very common response to this track.
That. Yeah, that's very unusual. Yeah, it's very unusual.
This is a massively technical track.
The same view I have, and in fact he also has about Watkins Glen. Just don't like it.
Well, I can understand people getting bored with Watkins because you go there all the time with every league, don't you? And it becomes very repetitive.
Yeah.
This one less so, but anyway, in the second race, you started in, I'm going to go with third, and got shuffled back a little bit with the 3 super fast going through the field. You had some very, very good battles, though. Yourself and Simon were paired off with somebody at all times, apart from around the pit stop phase. Somebody reversed into their pit stop. I think it was Kylie Haddington, actually. which was amusing. But we were interviewing Russell at the time, and I think you had quite a good, clean, and very competitive battle all the way through that race with somebody.
Well, the first race. It was Russ.
Yeah.
For ages.
That was true in the second race as well, though, right?
And then it wasn't Russ. That was Sam.
Okay.
And then later on, Stefan caught me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. In terms of, I was saying this to Sam and Simon earlier as well, that generally speaking, with the way the tyres are in these cars now, most of the time you'll find that the car just gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and it only drops off when you're basically on, Fred Flintstone wheels at the end. It takes a lot for tyre wear to really be a factor. But I'm finding recently, I don't know if it's just my lack of practice or maybe I was actually just driving the thing too conservatively, if anything. But I'm finding that I sort of hit a cliff and then the pace sort of oscillates a bit. So I'll have a good couple of laps, then I'll make one tiny little, just not even a mistake, but just a foot wide at an apex or something. And then that just cascades into just a bit of a naff lap overall, and then you just get sort of trapped in a cycle of that for 3 or 4 laps. And so the pace doesn't sort of keep accelerating. I just sort of get stuck at a plateau, and that's kind of what happened tonight. So that's why I was able to keep up with Sam for a while. Only because of the draft, to be fair. He did a very, very good pass on me through the middle section.
There's some amazing overtaking tonight.
Yeah.
That was really, really good, because I was saying to him just now that that's the point of the track where in most cars that I've ever driven in league context and things, I'm pretty good at defending or attacking on the outside of that China Beach corner.
Well, we saw you hanging it round outside some people tonight a few times.
Yeah, I've got. I don't know if I've just got a bit of particular knack to that or something. Sort of
Was it Russell that you did this fantastic overtake with Russell?
That whole first race was me trying to get Russ. It was like a stare down in the chess match, right? I was trying to get him to make a very specific mistake, which was to defend the inside into China Beach.
Right.
You probably saw me trying to just sat behind him before that, and you're probably thinking, why isn't he just pulling out and making the pass? And it's because I'd just get passed straight back. So I had to specifically get him on the exit of that corner. But yeah, when Sam got me, he managed to just keep his foot in it basically around the outside and just did a expert pass on me round there. So I didn't have a defence for that. I was just like, yep, fair enough, off you go. And yeah, I just stayed with him as long as I could. And then, as I say, the pace just kind of stopped accelerating. So I ended up just losing out. I had a bit of a naff pit stop. I sort of bogged down on the way out of the pits. And I didn't expect Sam to pit in front of me. And I was like, do I abort going in the pits or not? And then I tried aborting it and then realised I was too far around the corner.
Yeah,
so
I've done that round here. I did that also. Very similar pit lane entry at Barber. The pits, you kind of aiming off the last or penultimate turn rather. It's almost exactly the same. And I ended up not wanting to pit one time, following another car and got target fixation. And followed them straight into pit road. Couldn't do anything about it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I was in that weird situation where it's like, imagine Carl only had one hand free and you were often ringing pie and chips. Which one would he take? It's like, I don't know.
Well, I do, because he would stay with his teeth.
Always a hand free in the Hardy household. So.
Like your own joke here that follows that up.
Yeah, totally. Anybody you'd like to shout out to before we let you go? And I think you should celebrate because even though if you didn't get a podium finish, tonight's racing was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, the track suits is a good touring car racing track. It's not easy to pass. It doesn't mean it's a bad track. So, unless you're Simon, in which case it's a bad track. But yeah, no, thanks Simon. Thanks to you guys for putting it on as always. Thanks to everyone that turned up and raced. It was all very, very good stuff. I feel sorry for a couple of people that got caught out in various incidents and things. It was a bit unfortunate, the incident at the start of race 2. It's just one of those things, congested on this track. It's the sort of thing that can happen quite easily. I was very fortunate to get away with that myself, actually. But looking forward to the next one, which is Alton Park Island, which is an excellent track again. So
that's another racing track. Goodness me,
yeah,
what a beast!
we're going to be absolute crap out of that hairpin, but everywhere else will be great.
Well, I'll look forward to that. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, brilliant racing again, and we'll see you next time out at Alton Park. Jamie Wilson.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Well, Alan, a great set of interviews.
Yeah.
We need to now focus our attention fully on who will get driver of the meeting. Have you had any thoughts?
Oh, it's a nightmare.
Do you want to go first or second?
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. My vote tonight has to go to someone who faced adversity, stared it square in the eyes, and said, I'm not standing for that. So I'm going to go with Stephen Walker, even though he got absolutely washed out in the first race. It was just a racing incident as far as I can interpret it, and to his and Spencer's interpretation as well. But fought his way through the field and finished third in the feature race ahead giants such as head of giants such as Stefan, Jamie, Simon, Matt, amongst others. So, in my opinion, Stephen Walker gets my vote tonight.
Yeah, it's a good choice. And the thing is, I would like to give half of the field and the vote, and the other half of the field the vote as well.
You're not allowed.
Yeah, I know, because honestly, there was so many fantastic, so many battles. There was so much fine racing, so much fine driving by so many people. You know, it was an outstanding performances by the drivers, and it was an absolute feast of great racing tonight. And Stephen well deserves that accolade, but I'm going to give it to Spencer because he won 2 races and he drove superbly.
And a fine vote that is as well. Like we mentioned, next time out is next week for BSTV. It'll be Alton Park. It'll be the Island Circuit. That's the one with the early hairpin before you turn back across the back straights. There is nothing over the weekend. It means I get a rest, which is awesome. I think Clyde and Sam may be back for next week's broadcast, but that is yet to be defined. It leaves only for me to say good night to everybody that watches, everybody that raced. Congratulations to our finishing drivers tonight, and to hand over to Alan for his goodbyes, and then we'll close the broadcast. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to the racers. Thanks to the sponsors on all of the cars. From BSTV tonight, it's good evening and goodbye.
Yeah, what he said, and yeah, it's been a fantastic, glorious evening, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. Thank you, drivers. Thank you, audience, and thank you, Peter, for your hard work. You really, you did very well this evening, my friend.
Thank you very much, Alan.